Hello, this is Groucho Marx. I'm the one with the cigar and the mustache. I think my first appearance was around 1932. That goes back so far that most of the microphones we used were big square boxes. And I think that most of the performers were big squares, too. It seems to me that Harpo and I did a comedy routine. Of course, Harpo didn't come across very well on the radio, and the spot turned out to be a monologue. After that, we made motion pictures, Harpo, Chico, Zeppo, and I. We spent a day at the races, a night at the opera, and while we were making animal crackers, we really ate well. Somewhere along the way, John Goodell asked me if I'd do a quiz show for NBC. Can you imagine, after 40 years in show business, they invited me to end up as an encyclopedia? Well, I did the show, and to everyone's surprise, except mine, it was a success. You bet your life.
From Hollywood, California, the Hotchkiss Packing Company presents the Marx Brothers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Groucho Marx speaking, and already it's not such a good evening. Tonight, Chico and myself, with the help of that grand musical director, Raymond Page, bring you a slice of life from that crazy world they call Hollywood. As we drop into your home every Friday night, we're going to try to show you the unsung heroes of the motion picture business, the Hollywood agents. Those theatrical representatives who get jobs for actors and actresses in the movie studios. It's about time these agents were recognized. Look at the stars they've made. Take us, for instance. Who made us what we are today? Who helped us when we were in need? Who loaned us money when we didn't have a dime? The Western Loan Company. Have one of our bonded representatives call at your house next Monday night and take your house away while you're having dinner. So on with the show and let the jokes have no age limit. And while Ray Page sets the scene, we'll get the theatrical office ready for our new business as Hollywood agents, where everything is 10% off, including the agents.
Here's the office of the Square Deal Amusement Company, operated by Groucho and Chico Marx. Representatives of talent for the screen, sellers of sensational stars. Also headquarters for slot machines, pinball games, turkey raffles, and marked cards. Here they are, Chico and Groucho.
Very irksome. I can't understand it. We have a business, we've got a marvelous office here, but nobody comes in. I wonder why they stay away. Chico, did you put up that sign on the door?
Yeah, but I couldn't find a sign that said Marx. The nearest thing I could get was a sign that said Mumps.
Fine office. Where's my secretary?
Out to lunch.
What time did she leave?
October.
If she's not back by next March, I'll give it 2 weeks' notice. A fine office. Or did I say that? Chico, why don't you go out and drum up some business?
I would, only I don't know what business we're in.
Why, we're Hollywood agents. We get people jobs and pictures.
Do we?
Don't change the subject.
But why do we want to get a people jobs and pictures?
Well, we get 10% of their salaries.
Don't we have to do anything for the money?
No, we're agents.
I know, but what do we do?
Nothing, we're agents.
Say, I've been an agent for years.
Of course, you should be great as a picture agent. You've never been able to get yourself a job in pictures.
Well, I nearly got a job one time. Yeah, in a picture called The Human Race.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh, they said I wasn't the type.
Well, then you'd certainly make a fine agent.
All right. But where do you get to these people you put into pictures? How do you find actors?
Just carry a roast beef sandwich down the street and sign up anybody who snaps at it. Now go out and sign up some stars.
Say, I got a great idea. I'll get a Jean Hollow up to the office and sign her up.
Wait a minute. Jean Hollow has an agent.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot of fun getting her up in the office. Say, boss, do we charge the ladies the same 10% commission?
We take 10% of everything an actor gets.
You know, I'm only afraid of one thing.
What's that?
Twins.
Chico, you're a dreamer. Come on, I'll try you out as an agent. For example, if you walked into a producer's office, how would you sell them Kate Smith?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why, you'd say, this little lady can sing, play the piano, and in an emergency, move it.
Oh, oh, gee. I got the idea. Come on, try me again.
All right, suppose the studio calls up and wants a leading man like Clark Gable. What would you do?
Well, you say, this little lady can sing, play the piano, in an emergency, move it.
The trouble with you is you can't get your mind off Jean Hollow.
Pardon me, are you the Mumps brothers?
Chico, you don't have to answer that.
You needn't be afraid of me. I've had the mumps.
Yeah, but you haven't had the Marx brothers.
Away with false modesty. What's your name, madam?
Sadie Thompson.
Hey, what's your racket, Miss Thompson?
I was in the California Company of Rain.
I don't remember that. What was it called?
Local showers.
Enough of this pitter-patter. Tell me, my little blood orange, what do you do?
Well, you see, I can sing, play the piano.
And in an emergency, move it. Miss Thompson, you're wasting our valuable time in jokes. Would you like to sign up with us?
I should say not. Don't you remember? I was in here a month ago. I gave you my name and address, but you never got me a job. What are you going to do about it?
I'll give you back your name and address.
Oh, gee. Thanks very much. Gee, I think you're swell.
Oh, we're not swell.
Ah, you're just being swell. I'll never forget you for this. I think you're both swell.
Yeah, we think you're swell, too.
Oh, I don't think we're nearly as swell as she is. You are, but I certainly am not.
That's certainly swell of you to say that.
Well, goodbye. It was swell seeing you.
Well, it was swell seeing you, too. Swell up and see us again sometime. This is a fine location. With the type of people we're getting here, our main entrance must be on an alley. Hello, fellas. Ah, an actor, or does my nose deceive me?
Say, this guy looks a swell, too.
No, that's not swell. It's the past tense, swollen.
My name is Cookie Johnson.
Oh, another piano move, or is it just a piano? What do you do for a living, if you call that living?
Why, I'm a radio comedian.
Oh, a radio comic, eh? Well, you came to the right place. There's going to be fireworks around here, and we'll need a punk like you.
Are you the man who gets people jobs in pictures?
No, I'm a Hollywood agent, but this is no time for the truth. Tell me, why do you want to leave the radio to go into pictures?
Well, pictures is high class.
Yes, isn't they? Oh, you like that, eh?
No.
Who's that?
Oh, this is my partner, Chico Marx.
Any relation to Laundry Marx?
Chico, put on your brass knuckles and shake hands with Mr. Johnson.
How do you do? Your name is familiar, but I don't know how to do with your face.
I've got a couple of suggestions.
I don't know if I want you guys for my agents. I don't know if I want an agent. You can't depend on them. I read in the paper the other day just about an agent who committed suicide by jumping off a roof.
Oh, don't pay any attention to that.
Why not?
That was me. It was a publicity stunt.
I'm getting out of here.
Quick, Chico, lock the door.
Hey, wait a minute. What do you agents charge for commission?
Well, 10% is our fee.
Well, if it's fee, why do you charge 10%?
Quick, Chico, open the door.
You know, I don't like him.
Another thing. How much salary will you guarantee me?
Chico, get a contract ready and write in the salary we'll guarantee him.
Okay, how do you spell coffee and cake?
Hey, if I'm going to sign anything, it's got to be a legal contract.
You can trust us, Mr. Johnson. We're an old established firm. We've been in this location since 7:15. Here, I'll draw up the contract. How's this? Whereas you think you're a comedian, and whereas we think we're agents, and we think we can get you a job in movies, of course we're not sure whereas. For this consideration, you, as claimant whereas, waive retainer thereof whereas.
That's the trouble with this country, too many foreigners.
Let me see that contract. Hey, what do I pay you this 10% for?
That's for overhead.
Yeah, but what's this other 10% for?
That's for underwear.
See here, haven't you guys got any underwear?
Yes, but you know, we live in a changing world.
Now, let's get this straight right now. Mr. Marx, how much commission do you want?
How much money do you need to live?
Hey, wait, here's another 10%.
Yeah, that's for overcoats.
Well, I'm not going to sign this.
Listen, Tub of Butter, when you say that, smile.
Yeah, you know what happened to the last guy who didn't sign with us?
No, what?
He's now a star at MGM.
I'll tell you what I'll do. You get me a job for $5,000 a week, and I'll give you $50.
Huh. You get us a job for $5,000 a week, and we give you $100.
Well, that seems fair enough.
Fine, sign here, and we'll take you right over. We'll take you right over to Mr. Pincus's office at the Miracle Studios and get you started in a picture called Strike Me Pincus.
Okay, but you got to put a clause in the contract guaranteeing me work.
All right, how's this? Whereas, if we don't get you a job in 4 consecutive months, or 4 consecutive jobs in 1 consecutive month, you're an old maid. Now sign.
Now, wait a minute. Take it easy. I can't sign right away with you. You're strangers.
Strangers? You're crazy. I've known Groucho for years.
Well, that's different. I'll sign. Where's your pen?
Alcatraz.
He doesn't, not your home. The pen he means. Here you are.
Thanks.
Wait, there's no pen point in the pen.
That doesn't matter. I can't write.
Then we're even. We can't read. Never forget the first time I fell in love. Then came the Depression. You know, once I built a railroad. Then I ran out of blocks. It was just before the crash. I was eating my last chicken dinner. I was the kid with the drumstick. Then came the war. Well, the war wasn't quite that horrible. Yes, the war. And I fought, but I had to go anyway. Before I knew it, I was in the thick of battle, and then we ran out of ammunition. All we have is some peas, so we shelled them. I'll never forget how surprised I was the day the general stood before me. He said, "Private Marx, I've had my eye on you for a long time. I've seen you all through your preliminary training in ground work, and I want you to leave my wife alone." Of course, I was taken aback. I was taken aback to the guardhouse, and when I woke up, I had a black eye. How proud I was. My first decoration. But I found they had stripped me of everything. My pride was gone. My honor was gone.
Was your watch gone, too?
No, but it was going. Then the armistice was declared, and I crawled out of a haystack, packed up my needle, and returned home. I walked into my little gray cottage, and there was my wife. That'll give you a rough idea of what kind of home life Ray Page has. Ah, home, I can see it now. A little rose-covered cottage, and there is my wife, standing at the door.
Yeah, how do you know she's standing?
I sold the furniture before I left, stupid. Ah, home. What is home without a mother? Chico, I ask you, what is home without a mother?
An incubator.
So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was Miss Hollis Short, Chico, and myself, rendering one voice and 2 counterfeit choruses of Pennies from Heaven, accompanied by Raymond Page at the mighty cash register. And now, in all fairness to our real singing star, I think Miss Hollishaw should have an opportunity of winning your approval. Chico, take over.
Look, everybody, listen. All of you people at the banquet tonight are in the picture business. You're always looking for new talent, and yet right here under your nose is a great singer. Come on, give her a break and listen to her. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to help her Raymond Page direct, and I show you how I would present her. First we start. Very soft like a summer night in Naples. And then suddenly we hear the fountains in the garden. That's the violin.
There must be someone waiting who feels the way I do.
Then the nightingale joins with you. That's the flute. Then the wind in the trees. That's the clarinet. The shallows are the sea. The bright moon, the horns. And soon the whole night is singing with you.
Spring breaks through again. Time may lie heavy between, but what has been is past forgetting. This sweet memory across the years comes to me. And I want it all right in my heart.
And the moon sets. The nightingale sleeps. Fountains.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Groucho Marx hoping that you like the program. We'd also like to have you know that Miss Hollishaw is, in actuality, our protege. Both Chico and I feel sure that she has a great future as a singing star. And we want you to know, too, that we intend in all seriousness to do everything in our power to further her career. And so, my friends, for Raymond Page and myself, I say good night. Say good night, Chico.
Good night, Chico.
Remember that the Hotchkiss Packing Company will not be responsible for any comedians left after 30 days.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
No applause, please. I'm not here as an actor. I'm here as a barrister. My card, Crosby. Read it and give it back. I don't want to spoil the deck.
Hey, quite a law firm you have here. Mulholland, Crenshaw, Adams, Fairfax, Wilshire, and La Cienega. Where do you come in?
Between Melrose and Franklin on the streetcar.
Where's your office?
On the streetcar I came up here on. And if you think having a motorman for a secretary is any fun, you just try it sometime. Couldn't even get him to take off his gloves. Now, let's get down to business, Crosby. My client, Miss Wortkrunchel, is suing you for $50,000.
Now, wait a minute.
All right, we'll settle for 40.
$40,000?
If you haven't got it on you, I have the wrong Crosby, and I understand there is a wrong Crosby.
104% right. You must mean Brother Everett, but
I
Groucho...
don't mean Gummo.
Before I part with this kind of tin, don't you think it would be all right, or would you consider me pertinent? Would you? This is quite a word here. Pertinent.
You want to shorten it down and try a different way?
I'm doing a small Durante on this word. Would I be impertinent if I asked you why?
Very well, but only one question to a defendant. That took care of my answer. Now answer this. Now answer this question. Did you or did you not drive recklessly down Hollywood Boulevard on your way to the studio this afternoon?
No, I drove very cautiously down Sunset.
42 paid witnesses can't be wrong. You came down Hollywood Boulevard, and when you turned onto Vine Street, you splashed mud all over my client.
Mud? Where would you get mud on Vine Street?
I get it from a fellow who's got a dirty mind. Never mind where I get my mud, and you were driving recklessly.
What was I driving?
It was either a Cadillac convertible or a Philco console. But that's not important.
You don't know my sponsor.
I don't know any sponsor, and if I did, I'd have a show of my own. Phil Harris has 2 shows. What have I got? An office on a streetcar and a bucket full of mud.
I don't want to get entangled in any litigation here, so produce your client. If she can identify me, I'll be glad to make reparations. But frankly, I don't think she has a leg to stand on.
Frankly, I don't know. I've never seen her in a short dress. Oh, Miss Crunchwortle.
The name? The name is Wortkrunchel, Mr. Giesler.
Did you tell her you were Jerry Giesler?
I get a much bigger fee that way, yeah? And if you keep your mouth shut and pay off, I'll split it with you, Crosby. Now, Miss Wortkrunchel, what's your first name?
Lana.
Lana. Lana, what hollow mockery. Is Crosby here the man who splashed you?
Yes, that's the man. He was wearing a gray Homburg hat, a frock coat, an ascot tie, striped trousers, and spats.
Boy, have you got the wrong man.
Don't be too sure. Now, Lana, when this man passed you in his car, was he also wearing a diamond stick pin?
I'm not sure about that time. If you remember, you hit me in the face with the mud.
This entire case is a fraud. If I were wearing a frock coat and spats on Vine Street, I'd have them on now, wouldn't I?
Not necessarily. I was wearing a nightgown last night, but I haven't got it on now.
It's a matter of opinion.
You threw your suit away so you couldn't be identified.
I did not.
Then why are you standing there in your underwear?
It's not my underwear. I bought it from Ma Perkins.
Must be mighty breezy right now around the old gal, huh?
Wait a minute. You can't even prove that this girl was standing on the corner.
Not only can I prove that she was standing there, but I'll prove that she was stamping her feet.
What is she stamping her feet for?
She was sending them to Sears Roebuck to get a new pair of shoes. How we fought over that joke, huh?
I wish I'd have won. If you'll dismiss the whole thing, I'll be glad to buy a new dress for this charming young lady.
Charming young lady? I'll lay you 8 to 5. She's none of the 3.
What about my damages?
You've got enough damages. What you need is repairs.
All right, then. Shall we say $45, Groucho?
$45? That won't even keep me in saddle soap for my briefcase. Crosby, between you and Mother Nature, you've ruined this young girl's life. Huh? And this girl is an Ingrid Bergman by a long shot. And speaking of long shots, Lana, I'm afraid you'll never make the bridle path.
Well, what about Lionel?
Lionel? Who's he?
The man she was betrothed to, she was going to marry this afternoon.
Ah, the plot thickens.
She was on her way downtown to get married. As a matter of fact, she was waiting for my office to come by.
20 years I've been trying to trap Lionel.
Think of how this will sound in front of a jury, Crosby, if they're still awake. 20 years she waits to snag a man, and when she finally gets him cornered, you splash mud on her and he jilts her.
Oh, I'm a beast.
Speaking of beasts, let's get back to my client. 20 long years she waited for Lionel.
Well, where was he all that time?
He was in bed with a very bad haircut. He got mixed up in a clip joint. And now, because of you, this girl will have to spend the rest of her life sitting at home twiddling her thumbs. And there's nothing more disgusting than a pair of twiddle thumbs.
Now, hold on
I'd like to see Skitch Henderson play the piano with twiddle thumbs. I'd like to see a Toby play that way. Come to think of it, I'd like to see a Toby. He owes me 20 smackers.
20 smackers. Well, now, that's a nice round figure, and that's just what I'm going to give you.
And that's just what I'm going to take.
Oh, no, you won't. You said we'd hook Crosby for plenty.
That's the trouble with you girls around Hollywood, framing celebrities. Splashing mud on your dress, hiring a cheap shyster lawyer. Now go before I set the dogs on you. But before you go, I want to say one thing to you. You owe me 85 cents for the mud.
Why, it was all your idea.
Well, I've got another idea. I'm going south.
Oh, goody, we'll go together.
Skip it, I'll go west.
Wait a minute, I'll get my hat and go with you.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley is no fool.
The wisdom of the man can be denied by none, for he's the one who said.
Before you go to Buffalo, to Baltimore or Borneo, to Eastern Pennsylvania or Sudan,
go west, young man.
If you go to that land, sonny, you will have a lot of money. If you bring the money with you when you come
to the long prairie. Yippee-yee, 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 yippee-yee.
Before you read a travel ad or scamper off to Trinidad, to Albany, New York, or Yucatan,
go west, young man.
In the East, they live on donuts. In the West, the natives grow nuts. And I'll guarantee you'll go nuts if you come
to the long prairie. Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi,
A cowboy's gal is a real true pal. She will stick to him right or wrong.
Go west, young man. Go where the air puts air on your chest, young man.
You can ride a bucking bronco or a pony.
You can cut a calf in half and make bologna.
Go west, young man. Go right out there and give the best that you can.
Don't east, don't go north, don't go south, have a care.
Don't go up, don't go down, don't go here, don't go there. If it's true what they say about Dixie,
go west, young man.
Go out and till the soil there. Dig for gold and you'll find oil there. Where the crow flies as the snow flies. Go westward home.
If you are fond of hunting, there's no place that can compare. You may not bag a lion or a tiger or a bear,
but if you want a jackass, there are plenty of them there.
Go west, young man. We suggest you go west, young man.
The judges there are very fair, they always are, of course. A cowboy and his missus went to court for a divorce.
The cowboy got the children and the missus got the horse.
Go west, young man.
Groucho Marx, that's me.
Well, look who's here.
Hello, who are you?
Groucho Marx.
You're Groucho Marx? I always thought I was Groucho Marx.
Oh, come now, I'm not Groucho. You know who I am, don't you?
I'll take a wild guess. Chico?
No, sweetheart.
Harpo?
No, darling.
Am I warm?
No, darling.
You know, I've had that same complaint lately from more women.
My name is TALLULAH.
A phony name have I ever heard.
TALLULAH Bankhead, Groucho.
Oh, TALLULAH Bankhead Groucho.
No, you tickle me.
That's a date. What are you doing after the show?
I have a dinner engagement.
You believe in short engagements?
I have an appointment after the show.
What are you doing during the show?
I'm pretty busy during this show, my pet. This is an hour-and-a-half program, you know.
An hour and a half?
Mm-hmm.
That's a rather odd figure, isn't it?
Well, yes.
And speaking of odd figures, what are you doing after the show?
Well, darling, I'm having a man for dinner.
That's the main course. What are you having for the...
Well, we're going to Ciro's for dinner. We're having pheasant under glass.
You wouldn't consider a peasant under glasses, huh?
Now, look here, my sweet. I'm getting a little bit fed up.
And you haven't even had dinner yet.
Oh, what's the use? You're incorrigible.
I'll accept that, but who are you?
I'm a fan of yours, Groucho, and I've always adored you.
How can you say that? We haven't even been out together. So what are you doing after the show?
I told you I'm busy.
How about before the show?
Before the show, I had a malted milk.
You mind if I join you?
I'm trying to tell you as gently as I can. I can't see you before, during, or after the show.
Well, now that you've given me the brush, how about you and me going out and painting the town red?
And you're just the one to do it, aren't you, Carl?
Carl, I'm Groucho Marx.
And now, if you don't mind, I'd like to go on with the show.
Go right ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many stars on our program.
TALLULAH. I used to know a Pullman car named TALLULAH.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many stars on our program.
It had quite a caboose.
Ladies and gentlemen.
TALLULAH, indeed.
We have so many stars on our program.
Obviously, this woman is an imposter.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many stars on our program.
Who sponsors this program?
We have no sponsor, ladies and gentlemen.
No sponsor?
No, it's sustaining, ladies and gentlemen.
How can you sustain yourself without a sponsor?
We have so many stars on this show.
No sponsor? What'll my friends think?
Ladies and gentlemen.
If I had any friends.
Ladies and gentlemen.
If they could think.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many stars on our program.
How can they afford it without a sponsor? I'll bet the rent here alone must be about $85 a month.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Oh, I mean, Groucho, please.
How can a big hour-and-a-half program like this go with all these big stars go on without a sponsor? We'll give it some class. We'll have it sponsored by the Plebo company.
But, Groucho, what is the Plebo company?
Who cares? There must be a company named Plebo. And if there is, we'll send them a bill for it. Now, who were you trying to introduce?
Meredith Wilson and his orchestra.
Okay, commercial. Ladies and gentlemen, Meredith Wilson and his orchestra are brought to you by the Plebo company, America's foremost manufacturers. The Plebo company has been manufacturing foremost for years. Try a foremost, or better still, try the large economy size, the five most. Remember, when using foremost, use caution. Caution comes in 6 delicious flavors. So, ladies, if foremost persists, see your doctor. If your doctor persists, use caution. So buy a box of Plebo today. And if you are not satisfied, return the unused portion of the product, and the Plebo company will return the unused portion of your money. If you live in Canada, say hello to Papa Dion.
Oh, Mr. Pinza, do you know Groucho Marx?
Groucho Marx? What a peculiar name.
Look, Izzy. Don't you feel a little peculiar singing on a program that hasn't got a sponsor? Let me give you a commercial. The Plebo company...
Groucho, darling.
Hey, you know who I just saw out there? Fanny Ward.
Groucho, that's Fanny Bryce, and that man with her was Hanley Stafford, her father.
Fanny Bryce's father is Hanley Stafford?
Well, he's not really her father. She's his ward.
That's what I said, Fanny Ward. speaking of Fanny, what's PINZA doing sitting around in his dressing room? Why isn't he down here singing Some Enchanted Evening?
Mr. PINZA is not singing Some Enchanted Evening on this program, darling.
Well, somebody's going to sing Some Enchanted Evening in this darling program, even if it's only darling me. Wilson with 2 L's. How about a darling chorus? Some enchanted evening, you will meet a stranger. You will meet a stranger across a crowded room, and then you will know even then, that someday you'll meet her again and again. Yes, that's the way it happens. I was at a party some years ago. It was a cocktail party. Shrimp cocktails. Smallest drinks I ever saw. All of a sudden, I looked across the crowded room, and there wasn't a stranger in the place. So I went to another party. And there I saw her. I caught across the room. I took her in my arms, and I kissed her full on the lips. And she said, "Take that cheap cigar out of my mouth." Well, at party after party, I saw her again, and again, and again, and again, and again. It was during the Roosevelt administration. And then at one party, I met another stranger, her husband. He hit me so hard, I would have fallen out of a 15-story window, but I managed to grab a hold of the straps of her strapless evening gown. Once you have found her, never let her go. Once you have found her, never let her go.
Groucho, that was divine.
I could have sung louder, but I didn't want to make a bum out of PINZA.
No, Groucho, listening to you sing again and clown through that song brought back warm, dear memories of those days on Broadway when you and your brothers ran through all those wonderful shows like Coconuts and Animal Crackers. Well, maybe I'm sentimental, Groucho, but memories are my dearest possession.
You Bet Your Life, starring radio's funniest quizmaster. And here he is, the one and only, there used to be 4, Groucho Marx.
Well, here we are, ready to play You Bet Your Life, and here's your announcer to explain the rules of the game.
Well, folks, it's very simple.
Simple. I've been doing it for 4 years. I still don't understand it.
Each couple in our contest gets $20.
Some deal. Unemployment insurance gives you $26.
Each couple can bet as much of the $20 as they like. And the amount bet is added on to the original $20, and they can bet as much of that as they like, which is again added consecutively to the original amounts, which have been varied each time, depending on the amount you have bet or have not bet before.
The Einstein theory is relatively easy.
And here's our first couple, Groucho, a father and daughter. Mr. Higgins and Baby Snooks, meet Groucho Marx.
Well, hello, little girl. Your name is Baby Snooks?
Yes, sir.
Are you a good little girl?
Yes, sir.
And this is your father?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Higgins. I want to welcome you to You Bet Your Life.
Wait a minute, mister. Where's my money?
Money? What money?
I answered 3 questions, and you didn't pay me any money yet.
Isn't she cute? Why don't you shut up?
Hit him, Daddy.
Snooks, stop that. I'm sorry, Mr. Marx. She doesn't understand the rules of the game.
Then she's smarter than I thought she was. Now tell me, how long have you two been married?
We ain't married.
You ain't?
No. He's my daddy. We ain't even engaged.
Mr. Higgins, you mean this is your daughter?
Yes.
And you're still speaking to your wife?
What? Now, just a darn minute. You can't talk that way about my daughter.
Why not? I've got a daughter myself. Well, I really shouldn't say I got her myself. I had a little help.
Yes, we can't ignore our wives, can we?
No, but I have no respect for a man who doesn't try.
Daddy.
What?
Bend down. I gotta whisper something.
All right. What? Now, why couldn't you think of that when we were still in the hall?
I wasn't thirsty.
This child will obviously grow up to be another TALLULAH bankhead. In fact, it's children like this that's giving marriage a bad name.
Go on, hit him, Daddy.
Please, Higgins, I wish you'd curb your child.
But how?
Well, the best place would be out in the street. Well, let's dash ahead. And I'd like to dash hers. If I thought I could get away with them. Anyway, we're ready to play You Bet Your Life. Mr. Einstein has explained the rules to you, and I see you have chosen Presidents of the United States as your category. Now, how much of the $20 will you bet on your first question?
A penny.
A penny?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Snooks, no. We have $20 to bet. We're not going to bet a penny. Let's bet the whole 20.
20? Are you talking about dollars?
I'm not talking cents.
You sure ain't. All right, then let's really bet big. Let's bet $30.
Look, little girl, and I use the word loosely. You only have $20, so how can you bet 30? Unless, of course, you expect to do it on credit, and frankly, you don't look too honest. You've got a fairly ugly little kisser.
Now, just a minute. I resent that.
Do you deny it?
No, I just resent it.
Then let's get back to where we were, which is about as boring a place as I can think of. Now, how can you bet 30 when you've only got 20?
Well, my daddy's got some money, haven't you, Daddy?
No, I haven't.
Daddy, I saw you take $50 out of Mama's slacks this morning.
Snooks,
Yes,
quiet,
I did. And I'm going to tell Mommy that...
All right.
Yes, I will.
If she wants to bet 30, I'll put up the other 10.
You mean you'll pay me $10 of your own if she doesn't know the answer to the question?
Yes.
That's a pretty unbelievable thing to have happened. Then, so is your daughter. Well, anyway, here's the question for $30. What is the name of the second president of the United States?
The second president?
Yes, and I'll give you a hint. His first name was George.
I know. George Washington.
I'm sorry, it's John Adams.
But you told her the first name was George.
I'm sorry, I was wrong. Now you owe me $10.
I won't pay it.
All right, then. I'm going to tell Mommy that you took all that money
All right. Here's the $10.
You know, this is the first time I've understood this program.
Come on, Snooks. Let's get out of here.
No, we won't, Daddy. I'm mad at him, and I want to win his money. Of course, I hate him.
You hate me? Please don't say that. It's a set rule on radio that all quizmasters must be known as lovable. I'll tell you what, if I like you, will you like me?
Well, all right.
Fine. Now we like each other, right?
Right. But you know something?
What?
I liked you better when I hated you.
Well, I don't really care if people hate me as long as they think I'm lovable. Now, where were we?
Well, we want to bet you some more money. My daddy still got $40 left.
Snooks, no.
But I saw you take it out of Mommy's pocket.
Your mummy sounds like she's got a great pocket. Wouldn't mind reaching in there myself sometime.
Please, Mr. Marx. You should have a little respect for my wife.
I do. I have very little respect for her. Particularly since I've gotten a load of you two. Now, let's proceed.
All right. I want to ask you a question, and we'll bet $40.
Snooks!
Oh, you're going to ask me a question?
Yes, I am. And I'll bet you $40.
Little does she know that I have her in my power. For I am the master of the quiz, and soon I shall have all her money.
Are you ready for the question, mister?
Okay.
All right. First pronounce the word T-O.
T-O? 2.
Right.
This is like taking money from a baby.
Now pronounce T-W.
2.
Now pronounce the second day of the week.
Second day of the week. Just a moment. Now, this is the one with the catch in it. She wants me to say Tuesday. But the correct way to say it is Tuesday. But I'm sure she always says Tuesday. So if I say Tuesday, she'd say I'm wrong because it's Tuesday. So I'll say Tuesday.
Wrong, we win.
Tuesday.
Wrong, we win.
Wait a minute, I say Tuesday.
Wrong again. The second day of the week is Monday. Take the money, Daddy. We fooled you.
Groucho, our next contestants are an actress and an orchestra leader. Miss TALLULAH Bankhead and Mr. Meredith Wilson meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome to Your Bet Your Life. An actress, Miss TALLULAH Bankhead. That's a rather unusual name, isn't it?
Which one, Tallulah or Bankhead?
I mean the miss. An attractive girl like you, not married?
I am married to the theater.
Well, congratulations. May all your dressing rooms be little ones. With running water, preferably. That's an Indian I used to know. Are you a movie actress?
I'm an actress of the legitimate theater, the theater of Helen Hayes, Lynn Fontanne, Catherine Cornell.
Well, we have a few great actresses in the movies, too. Olivia de Havilland, Greer Garson, and tell me, when have you seen as great an actress as Betty Davis in All About Eve?
Every morning when I brush my teeth.
What I started to ask you was, what play were you ever in?
What play? Why, I have been in Let Us Be Gay, The Little Foxes, The Green Hat, Her Cardboard Lover, Lady of the Camellias, Rain, Private Lives.
Pretty long title of a play. No wonder it closed. Tell me, Miss Bankhead, while you're out here in Hollywood, why don't you try going into the movies?
I have been in movies. I made a picture called Lifeboat.
Lifeboat with raft?
I'm your guest. I laugh politely.
Mr. Wilson, let me get to you. You're an orchestra leader?
Mm-hmm.
Just what instrument couldn't you master that made you become an orchestra leader?
Well, most all of them, I guess.
Well, where did you start your career as an orchestra leader?
Oh, well, I started out originally in a little town in Iowa. Mason City, Iowa, to be exact.
Well, a lot of great orchestra leaders started out in small towns. There was Abe Lyman of Illinois. Later became president, I hear.
That must have been before Petrillo.
Everything has been before Petrillo. Yes, I guess so. Miss Bankhead, let's get back to that Broadway play, the one with the long title.
That was not one play. Those plays represent my career in the theater. Great plays by great playwrights who were gracious enough to make me the star of their work, and for whom I toured this country over. Acclaimed by the critics, feted by the public in every town in Hamlet who packed the theater to the rafters to see my performances, except Sapupra, Oklahoma.
That is certainly a novel pronunciation. What happened there, Miss Bankhead?
Betty Davis.
Oh, tell me, Miss Bankhead, do you think I could be an actor in the theater?
Anyone can become an actor, I suppose, but it'd be great if one must suffer. I had to wrestle with every part I master. I've had to wrestle with every emotion known to man.
Is there any method by which you can learn this acting profession?
Well, I use the Stanislavski method.
Stanislavski?
Constantine Stanislavski.
Oh, yes, good wrestler, that Stanislavski. How about you and me doing a little wrestling? I mean, a little scene from something and see if I have any acting talent.
Oh, very well. What do you know?
Oh, not much. What do you know?
What I mean is, are you familiar with the lines from many great plays?
Just some of the actresses. No, well, I know I know, come up and see me sometime.
Oh, no, dear. Well, we'll improvise. I do this quite often. It's great training. Well, I will set the scene in the drawing room in London. Penelope, the wife, is telling Cyril, the husband, that she has fallen out of love with him and is leaving him for someone else. English drawing room drama. Are you ready?
Wait.
Cyril, you remember when we first decided to get married? We said that should be one of us tired the other. That one won't tell the other.
Wait.
Cyril, I'm telling you now, I'm tired.
Quite.
I'm leaving you.
Quite.
This is the quietest part I ever had.
Cyril, I have found happiness elsewhere, but you, my pet, what will become of you?
Oh, don't worry about me, old girl. I shall probably end it all by leaping into the Thames River.
Oh, Mr. Marx, it's pronounced Thames River.
That's for the stomach, isn't it?
I shall leap into the Thames River.
Look, you jump in the river you like, and I'll jump in the one I like. Well, enough of this one-night stuff. Let's play You Bet Your Life. Wilson, you can wake up now.
Oh, I started out in Mason City, Iowa, and I was...
Now we're ready to play You Bet Your Life. And I see you've chosen first names of famous movie stars. I'll give you the last name. You supply the first name. Now, how much are you going to bet on the first question?
We'll bet the whole 20, okay, Miss Bankhead?
Press on, Meredith.
Are you referring to his pants? Okay, for $20. What's his first name? His last name is Raines.
Claude.
Right, Claude Raines.
That's exactly what I was going to say, my pet. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay, you now have $40. How much will you bet?
40.
For $40, her last name was Palmer.
Lily.
That's right. Lily Palmer.
Exactly what I was going to say, my sweet. You see, you beat me to it by just...
And how much will you bet now? You have $80.
I bet you $80.
All right, for $80. His last name is Clift.
Montgomery.
Correct, Montgomery Clift. You now have $160.
I was about to say that, Mr. Wilson. You're too quick for me.
All right, you take the next one. Let's bet the whole thing.
All right.
Very well. All right, now for $320, the movie actor whose last name is Stewart. What's his first name?
I know, James.
I'm sorry, you lose. It's Thames.
For our next couple, Groucho, we selected from our audience a plantation owner and a young singer, Mr. EZIO PINZA, Miss Jane Powell. Folks, meet Groucho Marx.
A plantation owner and a young singer. Miss Powell, you're the plantation owner?
No, I'm the young singer.
I am the plantation owner.
Oh, do you plant taters and do you plant cotton?
I do.
I now pronounce you Old Man River. Now, Miss Powell, what does a pretty girl like you do for a living?
I work for MGM.
I can't hear you. Would you mind stepping a little closer to the microphone? On second thought, forget the microphone. Just step a little closer to the quizmaster.
Well, which is which?
Well, the microphone... The microphone has more holes in the head. Now, Miss Powell, as you know, this is a quiz program. So, what are you doing after the show?
I'm busy.
Let me put it this way. I can get you into pictures.
Oh, I'm already in pictures.
Well, let me put it this way. Can you get me into pictures?
I am a plantation owner.
Haven't you sold that thing yet? Oh, yes. Do you plant taters and do you plant cotton?
That's right.
Well, them that plants them are soon forgotten. So let's forget about you and get back to Miss Powell. Miss Powell, how old are you?
19.
You call that old? Which brings us to Mr. PINZA. Is that the way you pronounce it?
That is right. EZIO PINZA.
How's that again?
EZIO. E-Z-I-O. EZIO. PINZA. P as in Peter. I-N-Z-A. EZIO PINZA.
Tell me, Tom, you must have had a very... You must have had a very interesting background. Now, tell us something about yourself. Don't you think Miss Powell is a beautiful girl?
Yes, I do. But I thought you wanted to talk about my background.
Well, with a background like Miss Powell standing around, we should talk about yours. Oh, well, what is your background? How'd you start out?
I started out in Italy as a professional bicycle rider. Then I was with the opera in Milano. Then I went to the Metropolitan Opera in New York. And then I became plantation owner in South Pacific.
Couldn't hold a job, eh? Well, all right now. We're ready to play You Bet Your Life. I see you have chosen songs for your category. Cowards. Now, you have $20 between you to bet. Miss Powell has 17, and Tom, you have 3. Now, I'll sing the beginning of a song, and you have to finish it. Ready? How much of your 20 will you bet?
We'll bet $10.
Very well. For $10, sing the rest of the song that starts out this way. 1.
Was that all you're going to sing of it?
That's all. 1. And no hints from the audience, please. The song I was thinking of was Wonder Who's Kissing Her Now. Now you have $10 left. How much of the 10 do you want to bet?
All of it.
All right, finish the song that starts with sweet.
Sweet?
That's right, sweet.
But what is the song that starts with sweet?
Candy and cake. I'm sorry you lost all your money, but for being such good sports, I'm going to give you each a DeSoto Plymouth car and a lifetime supply of money. Better luck next time.
Come over here, Groucho. For an hour and a half, you've been bouncing through this show, darling.
I hope your check doesn't do the same.
That's right. You say I don't know about you.
I don't know about you, but the rest of my script is blank white paper.
Yes, we're a little short.
Yes, we're a little short, folks, so hello. I could fill in here. Would you like to have me sing another song?
Oh, no, my pet, I don't think so.
You don't like my singing?
Well, you must admit that singing is not your forte.
I wish Knox were my forte.
That's the sort of thing you do best, Groucho, jokes. You've heard the old saying, shoemaker, stick to your last.
No, how does it go?
Well, that's it, darling. It means you should stick to what you do best.
I see. What are you doing after the show?
Darling, you don't seem to understand. I mean, you're a divine comedian, but your singing voice really, Groucho.
I was going to bring this up, but as long as we have blank white paper here, I heard you sing on the show last week.
Oh, do you mean when I sang Give My Regards to Broadway?
I've got news for you. Broadway refused them. And Herald Square turned him down, too. Now, don't go talking about my voice. How about your voice?
Just a minute, Costello. Critics everywhere...
Have you been at it all this time?
I certainly have. Everywhere they've said that I have a sterling voice.
Flatware, eh?
Me? Flat?
Okay, meet me at Me Flat right after the show, huh?
After all, darling, I just wrote an article on music in this month's Flair magazine. An article about Louis Armstrong. Why should I discuss music with you?
I started out with the Metropolitan Opera Company in New York. A prize in each and every package, and if you hold a little ring out to the light...
Well, I'll leave it to Meredith Wilson. He should know. He's a musician. Meredith, my sweet, come here. Tell me the truth. Now, what did you think of my singing last week? Be brutally frank.
Brutal.
Well, darling, if you'd only played in the right key.
Well, if you'd let me have your key.
I give my key to no man.
Well, Miss Bankhead, how can I play the song for you if I don't know what key it's in?
Well, no one has ever complained of my voice before. I wish you'd hear me in the shower.
And this is the dame who'd give her a key to no man.
Now, do me a favor, Meredith. Would you ask your orchestra if they would play Give My Regards to Broadway? I want to sing it again right now. Now, just to prove a point to Mr. Marx.
Certainly. Gentlemen, would you play Give My Regards to Broadway for Miss Bankhead? She wants to sing it again to prove a point to Mr. Marx.
Oh, no.
Boys, for me.
All right, darling.
This is your note, Miss Bankhead.
Thank you very much. Give my regards to Broadway. Remember me to Herald Square. Oh, darlings, until next week, when you'll come to see you from the Senate in New York.
Good night. Groucho Marx appeared tonight through the courtesy of the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Thank you, Cleve Conway. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Well, we're going to give you your Christmas present 5 days early. Right tonight, we're going to give it to you. And here's another Fitch bandwagon first along with it. You know, a member of one of America's wackiest families who has recently added orchestra leading to his many talents is right here with us. Now, you've held your sides laughing at him in movie theaters. You've left the theater quoting him. Well, just in case I haven't thrown you enough clues, listen to this theme. Ah, yes, indeed. Hold your hats, kids. It's Chico Marx, the piano-playing member of the Mad Marx Brothers.
Here, boss. Hold my hat, too.
I'll hold your coat and your vest, too, if you want to, Cheek, if you'll just get into one of those tunes of yours. You know, I'd suggest one that features the latest Chico Marx discovery. He's a composer, musician, singer, arranger, radio actor, always a lot of things. Very young fella, too, only 17 years old. Mel Torme, and he's going to sing one of those arrangements for which Chico Marx is so famous. This one entitled Abraham.
On February morn, tiny baby boy was born. Oh, Abraham, when he grew up, this tiny babe, the folks all called him Honest Abe.
Yes, Abraham.
Oh, he really came on. In 1860, he became our 16th president.
That's right.
And now he's in the Hall of Fame, our most respected gentleman. And that is why we celebrate this blessed February day.
Yes, Abraham.
Abraham, Abraham. Someone told him General Grant was drinking every night.
That's right.
He answered, go see if you can't get all my general's time. And that is why we celebrate this blessed February day. Hey, Abraham.
Yes, indeed, Abraham. Well, passengers, I can see I've got to keep hold of myself with Chico Marx to contend with here on the Old Fitch bandwagon.
Yeah.
Now, look, Chick, don't get me confused right off now from the very first. Just tell me, how do you like being here on the bandwagon?
Oh, well, first I gotta get one thing straight. How much do you pay for me to play onto the bandwagon?
No, Chico, not the bondwagon. It's bandwagon. We all buy bonds, and we've done what we could here on the bandwagon to sell bonds. But this happens to be the bandwagon.
Sure, that's what I say. How much do you pay for me to play onto the bandwagon?
Oh, what's the use? I give up.
Yeah, that's just what I want to know. How much are you going to give up?
Well, Chico, what do you usually charge for playing?
Well, for playing, $10 an hour.
Well, what do you charge for not playing?
$20 an hour.
Well, what do you charge for rehearsing?
$30 an hour.
Now, wait a minute, Chico. What do you charge for not rehearsing?
Oh, that runs into money.
Well, look, Chico, how much will it cost if you don't rehearse and if you don't play?
Oh, you couldn't afford it.
Well, what would you charge to drop into an open manhole?
Just the cover charge.
Why don't you drop in sometime?
Sewer. That cleans that up pretty good, eh?
Leo is on the air.
Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer presents hilarious highlights from and about the picture, A Day at the Races. Music. Romance.
I'm crazy about you.
And I love you so, sweetheart.
Comedy.
Henry, who was that lady I seen you with last night? Brother, that wasn't no lady. That was my wife.
Time Marxes On. Time Marxes On with the Marx brothers. Groucho, Chico, Harpo, and a courteous bow to the producers of the famous radio feature, The March of Time. Into the news swim last week with a resounding splash plopped one Hugo Z. Hackenbush, small-town quack, who recently nabbed the #1 medical chair of the famed Standish Sanitarium. Hackenbush's triumph in plucking this juicy professional plum brought forth naught but a mixed chorus of boos and cheers, said the anti-Hackenbush faction. Boos, said the pro-Hackenbush element.
Hooray! Whoopee!
Unmindful of the hubbub, clever, pert, cute Hugo Z. Hackenbush, last week in his spacious offices, bravely defended himself against vicious verbal attacks by medical meanies.
Tell me, Dr. Hackenbush, just what was your medical background?
Medically?
Yes.
Well, at the age of 15, I got a job in a drugstore filling prescriptions.
Don't you have to be 21 to fill prescriptions?
Well, that's for grown-ups. I just fill them for children.
No, Doctor. I mean, where did you get your experience as a physician?
Well, to begin with, I took 4 years at Vassar.
Vassar? But that's a girls' college.
I found that out the 3rd year. I'd have been there yet, but I went out for the swimming team.
The doctor seems reluctant to discuss his medical experiences.
Well, medically, my experiences have been most unexciting. Except during the flu epidemic.
Ah, and what happened?
I got the flu.
Time Marxes On. That Hollywood is the manufacturing center of the nation's music is a fact which can no longer be denied. The birth of radio broke the back of the phonograph record industry, then the chief revenue source of the Sharps and Flat Brigade. When Hollywood found its voice, it set the cue for the first strains of the swan song of Tin Pan Alley. Songwriters suddenly awakened to one cold fact: go Hollywood or go broke. Go over the Rockies to California or over the hill to the poorhouse. So to the music-making motion picture mecca marched the Do-Re-Mi-Fa-Sol-La-Ti-Do boys. The Gershwins, the Whitemans, the Berlins, the Porters, to turn out such hit musicals as Born to Dance, The Great Ziegfeld, and Broadway Melody. Hollywood now supplies America with 90% of the total volume of song hits. No secret is the fact that funny man Harpo Marx has never in his celebrated stage and screen career uttered a solitary word for public consumption. Nary a syllable has he spake. Proof indeed that silence indeed is indeed golden. Last week, however, came the millennium, as Harpo broke a tradition of years and agreed to speak over the radio. A thrilled audience sat tense and nervous as Harpo and his interviewer approached the microphone in the studios of XKVYR-VTD. In the control room, a red light flashed. History in the making. Harpo on the air.
Mr. Marx, this is a great occasion for me. Never in your career have you uttered one word from stage or screen. And just think now, I, who all the boys used to call Stinky, am to be the first person to interview you. First, I'd like you to tell our great unseen audience something about your new picture, A Day at the Races. We're waiting, Mr. Marx. Thank you, Mr. Marx.
Thank you, Mr. Interviewer. And as Harpo Marx is out, time Marxes On. Throughout American key cities during the coming fortnight, loud hosannas will greet the initial showing of A Day at the Races. Thrilled audiences will chuckle with glee at the superb comedy of the brothers Marx, applaud enthusiastically the singing of Alan Jones, whistle in amazement at lavish production numbers as patrons, sated with entertainment, emerged from a famous Hollywood theater after witnessing a preview of the Marx Brothers' opus. They were the subjects of radio's newest broadcasting stunt, the roving reporter with the lapel microphone. Picking patrons at random,
Reporter Elias of station XKBYRVTD buttonholed them for opinions of the musical picture.
Good evening, ma'am. Would you mind telling us in a few words what you thought of A Day at the Races?
Yo creo que la película de los hermanos Marx, Un día en las carreras, es la más cómica que he tenido el gusto de ver.
Very interesting, I hope. And you, sir, may we have your opinion?
Je crois que le film Un jour aux courses est le plus drôle que j'ai jamais vu.
Quite true, quite true. And the young lady with the little dog, will you say a few words about the picture? Okay, lady, okay. No offense meant. Ah, here's my old friend, Mr. Christopoulos Papadopoulos. How about a little statement for us, Pop?
I thought it was magnificent entertainment. Beautifully conceived, handsomely produced, intelligently presented, and fairly sparkling with the most effective comedy since the last election. In my opinion, if anything is better than A Night at the Opera, it is Groucho, Chico, Harpo, Alan Jones, and Maureen O'Sullivan in A Day at the Races.
Thank you, Mr. Papadopoulos.
Time Marxes On. On this program, in addition to the gnashing of the teeth of the producers of the justly famous March of Time, you have heard the Marx Brothers, Groucho, Chico, Harpo, and the music of the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Orchestra under the direction of Franz Waxman.
All got children got money. All got children got gold. Big gold, all we need is sweet and sour ready. Blow them on, blow them on.
And a blue bunnies in the waters together. Well, hi. Get your tutti frutti ice cream.
I got a message from the man on the moon for you. Just you.
Time Marxes On.
If you can face the setting sun and say, follow,
Groucho Marx. Whatever happened to Groucho Marx?
That's what I keep asking myself. But I never get an answer. I think I'll turn it over to a detective agency.
Look, Groucho, you're supposed to start this letter.
I don't want you to think I'm hammy, Bill, but the least you can do is give me an introduction. After all, I haven't seen so many people since I had my relatives out for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, I'd be glad to introduce you, Groucho, but on this program, you just walk up without an introduction and start talking.
Oh, no, you don't. I tried that once with a blonde and got slapped silly.
Well, all right. All right, if you insist. Attention, men of the armed forces. In the past, as most of you know, Mail Call has brought you the top-notch guest stars of the entertainment world, such as Mickey Rooney, Edgar Bergen, Bing Crosby, Barbara Stanwyck, and others. But as you all know, all good things come to an end. After all, how long can we keep up that pace? So tonight, we bring you Groucho Marx.
What a reception. What an ovation. I can get a bigger hand than that just showing my spare tire. And another thing, Goodman, I didn't come down here to be insulted. I can stay home and be insulted.
Now, wait, Groucho, I wasn't trying to insult you. I thought you'd be happy to have your name linked with big stars, especially Barbara Stanwyck.
Sure, link me with Barbara Stanwyck. That's how those things always start. Scandal mongers like you dishing out dirt. It's going to look great in the morning when Robert Taylor picks up the paper and reads where Groucho Marx is going around with Barbara Stanwyck. Don't forget, Bob Taylor reads the papers. Don't think that just because he's a movie star he can't read.
Now, wait, Groucho, I didn't say that you were going with Barbara Stanwyck.
You don't have to say it. It'll be in all the papers tomorrow. You may not know, but it's generally known that Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor are married. What's Robert Taylor going to think about this? Better still, what's Barbara going to think of it?
Well, I'm sorry if I said anything to get you in trouble.
Sure, now you're sorry after the damage is done. Normally, I wouldn't mind a little vicious gossip. But at the moment, I happen to be running around Hedy Lamarr. Running around with Hedy Lamarr. In the future, I'll thank you to watch your tongue. You watch your tongue, and I'll watch Hedy Lamarr.
I didn't say you were going with Hedy Lamarr. I said Robert Taylor is going with Barbara Stanwyck.
Oh, now you've got Robert Taylor running around with Barbara Stanwyck. This is a fine state of affairs. A man running around with his own wife. What are the neighbors going to think? This is Groucho Marx and family.
Groucho, what do you mean, family?
Well, Bill, when you asked me to appear in this program, I thought it would be a nice gesture if I brought my mother along.
Oh, well, that is a nice gesture, Groucho.
Thanks, Bill. Well, fellas, I don't like to brag about my mother, but I think she represents the typical American mother, and I'd like you to meet her. Mom! Oh, Mom! Would you please come out here to the mic? Oh, Mom! Gentlemen, this is my mother. Gentlemen, this is my mother, Mrs. Betty Grable Marx. Betty, I mean Mom. Mom is blushing. It's been many years since the fellows whistled at her.
Hello, everybody. It's awfully nice to be here.
Mom, I'd like you to meet our announcer, Bill Wolf Goodwin.
My, what a cute little fellow.
Oh, please, Miss Grable, put me down.
That's not even in the script.
And how would you like to be my son, Mr. Goodwin?
Yeah, Bill, how would you like to have her for your mother?
Well, I'd like it, and so would my father.
Yes, and so would your grandfather. I'm sure glad I brought you down here with me, Mom. Don't forget, fellas, write to your mother. But don't write to my mother. Look, Bill, isn't she everything I said she was and more?
Yeah, and more. But, Groucho, isn't she a little young to be your mother?
Mr. Goodwin, haven't you ever seen a 23-year-old mother before?
Well, yes, but not with a 4F son.
I'm really a 5G. Fellow with two heads. Well, Mom, how do you like being here talking to the men in our armed forces all over the world?
Oh, it's wonderful, Junior. I'm just sorry that I can't be right there to kiss them all good night.
Oh, they don't need you. The first sergeant takes care of them.
Oh, gee, I'd like to have someone kiss me goodnight.
Oh, are you lonesome, Mr. Goodwin?
Look, Mom, don't worry about him. He's strong enough to take care of himself. I'm the one who needs babying. You know, Mom, when I look at you, I can never understand why Father left you.
You know, Junior, I'm glad he's gone.
You think he'll ever come back, and what can I do to keep him away?
Well, why did he leave in the first place?
Well, I don't know. You see, right after I adopted Groucho, my husband became insanely jealous.
Yes, and for nothing at all. It all started one day when he walked into my nursery and overheard me telling Mumsy to take out more insurance on him.
And he left home just for that?
Well, that and the fact that I was smoking his cigars.
Oh, now, wait, Groucho. Were you smoking cigars when you were a baby?
Well, just little cigars, you know. There's nothing like a good cigar after a bottle of warm milk. I used to love to drink my milk and then curdle up in my mother's lap.
Oh, now, isn't that silly? Imagine my husband being jealous of a little baby like Groucho.
Well, Mom, maybe it's best that he left. After all, he did worry you a lot. Why, overnight, your hair turned prematurely blonde.
Groucho, I'd like to adopt Bill Goodwin.
You do a thing like that, and I'll leave home. And I'll take you with me.
Now, Groucho, I'd love to be alone with you for a few minutes.
Betty, what woman wouldn't? I took an awful chance with that line.
Groucho, do you think we could get rid of BILLGOODWIN?
Oh, that's easy. Listen, Bill, if you leave us alone for a few minutes, I'll buy you some ICEKREAM.
Oh, all right, I'll go. You don't have to bribe me with cigars.
Well, that takes care of him. Now, Betty, what's on your mind? I know what's on mine.
Well, I don't know how to tell you this, Groucho, but, well, there's something burning inside of me that I've been wanting to tell you for a long time. Groucho, it's love.
Betty, you've made me the happiest man in the whole world.
Well, but Groucho, you see,
If I had only known, I'd have worn my toupee.
Well, I've got bad news for you, Groucho. It isn't you.
I've got bad news for you, too, Betty. I haven't got a toupee. That's a funny switch, huh?
You know, you're sort of a legendary character, and I understand an expert on love.
I'm a Vine Street Casanova. Well, Betty, I should be an expert on love. I roomed with Tommy Manville for 3 years.
The room must have been awfully crowded.
There's an answer to that, but I can't use it. Now, Betty, Now, Betty, what would you like to know about love?
Well, now, look, I've been going with a fellow for a long time, and I can't get him to pop the question.
Betty, perhaps he doesn't love you.
Love me? Why, he's crazy about me. He comes to see me every night.
Does he come alone, or does he bring his wife?
Now, you know I wouldn't go out with a married man.
Well, if you get married, you'll have to go out with a married man. Well, why go out with a married man and break up your home? No, Betty, my advice to you is to marry a single fellow.
But he is a single man, Groucho.
I'm sorry, Betty, but if you want me to be of any assistance, you'll have to tell me everything. Now, why don't you take me through a typical evening at home with your boyfriend? Tell me everything.
Well, all right. Now, let's see. At 8 o'clock, our doorbell rings.
I know. Everybody hides. You think it's the landlord.
I rush over to the door, and there he is, that big hunk of man. I usher him into the living room, and we sit on the couch.
Doesn't he say hello?
He looks at me for a half hour, then I look at him for a half hour.
Well, there's an hour shot to pieces. Now what happens?
Well, after that, he tells me all the things he's been doing at the office during the day.
There goes another hour. Now, during this dreary palaver, does he have his arm around you?
No, he can't. My father is sitting on the couch.
That shouldn't stop him from putting his arm around you.
But Father is sitting between us.
Where's your mother?
Oh, well, she went with my brother over to his girl's house.
Your folks certainly trust you, kids. Now, tell me, what happens around 9:30?
Around 9:30, Father takes an apple out of his pocket and starts to polish it.
Does he blow on it first?
Then Charlie sees the moon shining through the window.
You mean Charlie is still awake?
And he suggests that we go out into the garden and sit on the bench.
That's the first smart move he's made. Now, when you're seated on the bench in the garden, does Charlie put his arm around you?
No, he can't. Father is still sitting between us.
Why? What happened to the apple?
But Charlie and I just love it there in the garden. It's so peaceful and quiet. The stars are dancing in the sky, and the moon is shining down on Father's apple.
Doesn't your old man wear a hat?
And the only sound that breaks the stillness of the night is the sound of the frogs as they croak.
I bet Charlie'd like to hear your old man do that.
Now it's about 10:30, and Charlie takes off his gloves.
You know, Charlie sounds like a pretty hot lover. I'll bet by 11 he'll take his hat off.
Then we go back into the house. You see, Father is getting pretty cold.
I imagine by this time Charlie's getting pretty cold, too.
Now, when we get back in the living room, we all sit down on the couch. Then Father gets bored and starts to yawn.
Are you sure he's bored?
Yes, because by this time Mother has joined us. Oh, yes, and my brother, too.
Must be pretty crowded on the couch by now. Tell me, what's happened to Charlie?
Charlie's sitting on the floor, polishing Father's apple.
How long has this apple been in the family?
Oh, I don't know, Groucho, but I wish you could tell me how I can get Charlie to marry me.
Betty, the solution is very simple. Put your mother and father on the couch. Put your brother on relief. Send Charlie to the fruit store for a bag of apples. Give the apples to your father, pull the bag over Charlie's head, and don't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me.
You know, we weren't too surprised when we found Chico Marx coming out with an orchestra after his years on the stage and screen. After all, his piano playing, featuring the shooting of notes with his fingers, which you're all familiar with, Well, that was always a big hit when he appeared with his equally mad brothers, the famous four Marx brothers. Do you like this new work, Chico?
Sure, Toby. And I especially like it very much to ride onto this fish wagon.
Please, Chico, I told you before, this is the Fitch bandwagon. The word is Fitch, not fish.
That's what I say, fish wagon.
All right, so I'll try just once more. Look, Chico, Fitch is something that's good for your head.
Sure, I know, boss. A fish. It's a brain food.
Every day should be Friday for you. I don't see why you don't eat some of that fish.
I tried to eat a fish once, though, but it's a no good.
What was the matter with eating fish?
I couldn't stay underwater that long.
I can see I'm getting myself in deep water right here. Well, let's forget about the whole thing and have one of your famous piano solos. How about it, Chico?
Okay, but thanks very much. Excuse me, Tobe, excuse me. You see, first I got to tune up. Boys, come on, give me an A. I think somebody snuck in a B on me.
Well, Chico, what's the matter with that?
Well, I don't like anybody to put a B on me.
You know, Chico, you're awfully close to an idiot.
Well, that's all right. Keep quiet. Nobody will notice you.
I'll turn the trick very nicely, Chico.
And now, Toby, for a change, I'd like to play something classical.
For a change, it would be nice to hear you play something classical. What's it going to be, Chico?
Well, I'd like to play the second movement from the Beer Barrel Polka.
Well, that gives you a rough idea of what's happening to the classics since Chico Marx has become an orchestra leader. Here it is, passengers, just as Chico featured it in his movie A Night at the Opera. Chico Marx, the piano, and the Beer Barrel Polka. Time, folks, so that we can have Chico play some more. And I only wish that all of you passengers out there on the air could be here in the studio and watching, because it's really a sight, believe me.
Well, our next guest is a man who, well, on the other hand, I don't like to exactly say that without qualifying my statement by saying he's also very well known in the field of, well, one thing I'm sure of, here he is, that musical genius, that man of no words, Harpo Marx.
Well, Harpo, how are you? Good to see you. What do you say, kid? Yeah, hello, Harp. What's cooking? For a minute, I didn't think he was going to speak to us.
Say, Harpo looks hungry, Jack.
He does at that. Want something to eat, Harpo?
What would you like?
Get him a glass of milk. And a piece of raspberry pie.
Now, gentlemen, I'm afraid to interrupt again, but things are getting a little dull.
Just a minute, Carpenter. After all, we're handicapped.
Yeah, how can we hold a conversation with a guy who won't talk?
Oh, wait. Apparently, you aren't aware of the fact that Mr. Marx always travels with an interpreter. Of course, he's brought him along tonight. Gentlemen of the AEF, may I present Harpo's official interpreter and spokesman, Mr. Gary Cooper.
Hey, Bing, he got more applause than we did when we came.
Get my things. I'm leaving.
Well, Gary, this is really a surprise. Doggone, I didn't know that you were Harpo's spokesman. So you travel around and do all his talking for him. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, Gary... I'm glad you're here because we're beginning to have a little trouble with Harpo. Do you ever have any trouble with him?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's because you've known him so long. I mean, you're very close to him. You understand him.
Yep.
And he won the Academy Award. Hey, Bing, do you think you could get him to talk?
No.
Well, try.
Okay, say, Gary, we had a lot of fun when you were working at Paramount on For Whom the Bell Tolls, didn't we?
Yep.
What do you do? Oh, what are you doing now? You on a vacation?
No.
Oh, then you're getting ready for another picture.
Yep.
Is there a part in the picture for me?
Nope.
Well, I'll try one more question. Is Harpo going to play his harp tonight?
Yep. This guy's beginning to crack like Silent Yoakum, isn't he?
Gary,
Yoakum fans back there.
Gary, what's Harpo going to play?
The harp.
He said something! Hey, he said something!
Gabby Barber, huh?
What selection?
Well, I hate to hog the whole show by talking too much, but Harpo's going to play Who Threw the Overalls in Mrs. Murphy's Chowder. I want to warn you, it's going to sound more like Stardust. Climb up on the harp, sonny boy, and play it like an angel.
For heaven's sake, Gary, what's the matter with him? He's groaning.
Naturally.
Naturally?
Well, he wants the groaner to sing with him.
Okay, Harpo. Sit right over there and pluck me on, boy. Lots of requests tonight for Blue Heaven. When whippoorwills call and evening is nigh, I hurry to my blue heaven. A turn to the right and a little white light will lead you to my blue heaven. You'll see a smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, and a little nest that's nestled where the roses bloom. Just Molly and me, and baby makes three. We're happy in my blue heaven.
true as a $3 cornet. Those bitter words spoken by Napoleon to Josephine in a musical comedy entitled I'll Say She Is served to introduce to some of us about a generation ago a foursome that were to become internationally famous. This was hardly their first appearance on the boards. Long before, abetted by their mother and their aunt, they had appeared in vaudeville as the Six Musical Mascots. And later, when Mother and Auntie had retired, they were billed as the Four Nightingales. Still later, they emerged with disarming simplicity as the Four Marx Brothers. Well, if you've seen any of their pictures, from the Coconuts to the Big Store, you know that the ringleader of this mad quartet is Brother Julius, noted for his horn-rimmed glasses and elegant black walrus mustache, a cigar about the size of a small walking stick, and an uncanny faculty for making people laugh. At present, he holds forth every Saturday evening as star and first citizen of Papist's Blue Ribbon Town. And now Variety recommends, and Philco thinks it's high time that he paid the Radio Hall of Fame a visit. So now we take you to Hollywood and to Julius, or if you prefer, Groucho Marx.
Groucho, here you are on the Hall of Fame.
Yes, Niles, the Hall of Fame. At last I realized one of my boyhood ambitions.
Was it really your boyhood ambition to be on the Hall of Fame?
Not quite, Niles. Frankly, my first boyhood ambition was to be a man. And I haven't quite made it yet. I also had an ambition to be a doctor.
You, a doctor? Well, that sounds unbelievable.
Unbelievable? Why? Can't you picture me as a man in gray?
Gray? Don't you mean man in white?
Niles, haven't you noticed the kind of work the laundries are doing lately? At any rate, today I finally step into the role of a master surgeon, so pull on your medical nightshirt and let's get going.
Very well, Dr. Marx. Come with us, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, come with us to the Blue Ribbon General Hospital, where today we find that things are in a pretty mess. Why are they in a pretty mess? Well, they're in a pretty mess because in a moment of mental debility, the renowned diagnostician, Dr. Merrill, decided to try out a new assistant, intern G. Hackenbush Marx. At the moment, Dr. Marx is being eagerly summoned on the hospital's call system.
Calling Dr. Marx. You're wanted in room 14. Calling Dr. Marx. You're wanted in room 14.
You'll have to wait. I'm pressing my pants. You'll have to wait. I'm pressing my pants. You see, there's two pair of pants with this.
Patient has high fever and is burning up. Patient has high fever and is burning up.
So are my pants. So are my pants. That is all. Hackenbush.
Dr. Merrill, if you don't fire this insane intern Marx, I'm going to resign as superintendent of nursing.
Now, calm yourself, my dear. I'm only trying Marx out because there's a manpower shortage.
Well, with him around, there still is.
I think you're right. I'm going to give him one more chance to prove his ability. And if he fails today, out he goes. Now, who can that be? Come in, come in. Oh, hello, Marx.
Hello, Dr. Merrill. Pardon my rubber glove.
Oh, rubber gloves, huh? Did you just return from surgery?
No, I was just luxing out a pair of shorts.
There, you see, Dr. Merrill? Oh, this man will never make a great doctor.
Oh, but Miss Felton, I've been told that Marx comes from a family of great doctors.
That's right. Take my Uncle Harpo, for example. What a great doctor he was. What that man contributed to the field of medicine.
Well, what did your uncle contribute?
Well, for one thing, he discovered a cure for which there was no disease.
Just as I thought. This man is nothing but a quack.
A what?
A quack. Quack, quack.
Are you going to stick around, or do you fly south for the winter?
Oh, frankly, Marx, I think Miss Felton is right. You strike me as being a nincompoop.
No, I'll strike you as I am. Tomorrow I'll strike you as a nincompoop. Say, just a second, Doctor. Did you call me a nincompoop?
Yes, I called you a nincompoop. What about it?
Nothing. How much do I owe you for the diagnosis?
Dr. Merrill, this man is impossible. Why, he has absolutely no conception of things medical.
Oh, come, Miss Overdose. Stop this childish chatter.
Childish chatter, is it? Dr. Marx, I'll have you know that other people seem to find my conversation quite interesting. In fact, many men have told me that I am a woman of the world.
Yes, and you said you look lumpy around the equator.
Now, look here, Marx. You can't talk to Miss Felton like that. Why, she's the head nurse of this hospital. Why, only a few years ago, her face appeared in every leading medical journal.
Oh, of course. I remember that. She was chosen Miss Poison Oak of 1929, wasn't she?
Well, of all things.
Hello, Dr. Merrill speaking. Oh, just a minute. It's for you, Marx.
Hello? Oh, is that so? Well, there's nothing I can do about it now. Sorry. Goodbye.
What was it, Marx?
Oh, just a little routine trouble. Patient I operated on last week. I ran out of surgical thread, so I sewed him up with some knitting wool instead.
Well, what happened to him?
He took a bath, the wool shrunk, and now he walks sitting down.
Marx, you're mad.
No, I'm not. I'm not even angry. Shall we dance?
Miss Felton, send in the next patient. I'll see what this nitwit knows about medicine.
Here's the next patient, Dr. Merrill. Mr. Mel Blank Ferguson.
Oh, come in, Ferguson. Come in.
Please, the name is Ferguson. There's an R in it.
All right, Ferguson with an R in it. What seems to be wrong with him?
Look, Doc, there ain't nothing wrong with me. My wife made me come on account of I'm running a slight temperature.
Well, in that case, your wife was right.
But it ain't nothing. I bought a set of BVDs from a guy, and I found out they were stolen goods.
Well, why should that give you a temperature?
Look, Doc, did you ever walk around in a hot union suit?
Your patient, Marx. See what you can do with him.
Very well. Ferguson, open your maw and say aw.
Well, what do you see, Marx? What do you see?
Looks like Congress is in session. Merrill, I think we'll have to operate.
Oh, but Marx, an operation. Are you sure it's absolutely necessary?
Definitely. Nice?
Yes.
Scalpel.
Scalpel.
Forceps.
Forceps.
Suture.
Suture.
And a bottle of Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. I knew I'd get that in somehow.
Hey, not so fast, Doc. Do you know how to operate?
Of course I do. I operated a bus for 6 years. Now, what do you want taken out? Your appendix, your tonsils, or would you prefer our special surprise package?
Well, I don't know. What do you take out best?
The nurses, but I operate differently there. All right, nurse. Get the patient ready.
Oh, just a minute, Marx. How do you know where to operate?
Why, that's easy. I'll just follow this X-ray picture.
Oh, you dope. That's not an X-ray picture. It's a road map.
I wondered why his liver was just outside of Peoria.
Saved by the bell. So long, quack.
So long.
Hello. Just a minute. It's for you again, Marx.
Hello? Oh, is that so? I'm sorry, but it's too late now. Goodbye.
What is it, Marx?
Just a patient I operated on for an injured arm muscle. It was so bad I had a graft on a cow's muscle, and I think I made a little mistake.
Why? What's the trouble?
Every time the patient shakes hands, his elbow starts giving milk.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt Dr. Merrill, but Mrs. Faye Van Mackenzie is outside, and she insists she must see you at once.
Well, I'll let Marx examine that silly Van Mackenzie woman. I think she's just a hypochondriac.
I don't think so, Doc. I think she just imagines she's sick.
Come in, Mrs. Van Mackenzie. My assistant, Dr. Marx, will look you over.
Oh, Dr. Marx, are you going to look over me?
If you bend down a bit, I'll jump over you. Now, let's talk about your case, madam. When did you first discover you had the flu?
Oh, but I don't have the flu. I have sinus trouble.
Flu.
Sinus trouble.
Flu. It's gotta be flu. It's gotta be flu. It's gotta be flu. I wandered around and finally found.
Why does
Just
it
getting
have...
to a good note, too.
Why does it have to be flu?
Well, I've only been here a short time, and I don't know how to treat anything else.
What?
No, wait a minute. I know how to treat bronchitis, too. You can have your choice, bronchitis or flu. That's all I can give you.
But I don't want either of them.
Bus budget. Don't you know there's a war going on? You take what you can get these days.
Oh, but doctor, you don't understand. My limbs feel funny, and I'm shaking like a leaf.
You don't need a doctor. You need a tree surgeon. I can't stay in bed, Doctor. I'm telling you, I must get over to the Bird's Eye open house.
Quiet. Stick out your tongue.
Stick out your own tongue.
Why should I stick out my tongue?
Don't ask me. You're supposed to be the doctor.
Well, of all the...
And what's more, I'm starting to have my doubts about that.
How dare you? Why, 30 years ago, I was a horse and buggy doctor.
A buggy doctor? Well, take some flea powder and you'll get rid of them. That'll be $5. You better come in and see me again next week. And next week, leave the fleas at home.
Mr. Marx.
And you stay with the fleas.
Mr. Marx, in case you don't know it, I was with the Mayo brothers for 12 years.
So what? I was with the Marx brothers for 30 years.
I repeat, for the past 12 years, I was with the Mayo brothers knitting bones.
Knitting bones, eh? You must have made them some pretty heavy sweaters.
No, stop this nonsense. I'm going to look down your throat. Open your mouth.
Who's playing down there, the Dolly sisters?
how would you like to have me take your tonsils out?
Fine. Take them to the Palladium. They've never been there.
I'm sorry, Mr. Marx. I have other patients to call on.
Well, can I do my broadcast on the Bird's Eye Open House tonight?
Definitely not. Should you have to get out of bed, I want you to wear long woolen underwear, a sweatshirt, a flannel shirt, a heavy suit, a sweater, a muffler, and an overcoat.
Yeah.
And above all, there's one thing I don't want you to do.
What's that?
Don't get overheated. Goodbye.
Good joke on him. He doesn't know I'm dead.
Well, Marilyn, looks like it's going to be you and me alone on the show.
Oh, poor Groucho.
Yeah.
I was so anxious to work with him, because he's so cute.
Yeah. Too bad, yeah. I can't believe it. Harry Von Zell and Marilyn Maxwell.
Say, Harry, I've got a great idea.
Yeah?
Let's go over to Groucho's house, and maybe we can get him on his feet in time for the show.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Well, Harry, let's go.
Yeah. Well, I'll be right with you, Marilyn. I just remembered I want to make a phone call, though. Excuse
Okay,
me.
I'll wait for you outside.
Yeah, good. I'll show that guy. Fix him in his own. Hello, Joe? Joe, this is Harry. Look, Marilyn Maxwell is on the show tonight. Yeah, she certainly is. Yeah, and I want to keep Groucho away from her. You see, he's got a cold, so look, if you'd pose as a doctor and convince him that he must stay in bed. Yeah, get it? Great. All right, I'll see you over there.
Come in. Marilyn, Harry, it's so sweet of you to drop in this way. Come on in.
Say, Marilyn, he looks much worse than I figured.
Oh, yes. Harry, this is more serious than I thought. I've never seen anyone that pale.
I hope we're not too late.
Would you folks like to sit down, or should we go right to the cemetery? It's only about 40 stones from here.
Groucho, what's wrong with you? Has the doctor been over?
Yes, and he says that
Now, don't you worry about a thing, old man. Why, by the time we're through with you, you'll look as good as I do.
Well, that certainly doesn't give me much to look forward to.
Well, if we're going to get you out of bed in time for the show tonight, we better get busy. Groucho, you must drink plenty of liquids. What kind of fruit have you got?
Apples and pears?
Well, isn't there anything in the house you can squeeze?
Yes, but Thursday's the maid's day off. Besides, I haven't got a mix master. That joke was left over from an old script we used a couple of months ago.
Well,
If anybody would like it, it'll be at sale later on. Along with me.
Groucho, where'll we start?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, we could hold hands and see how that goes.
Oh, no, none of that stuff, Groucho. Marilyn's not over here to neck with you.
Look, Fatso, why don't you take your water pistol and go fill up Boulder Dam?
Now, you cut that. You look here, Groucho. I came over
Now,
here.
wait a minute.
I never
Stop
saw-
arguing,
He can't.
fellas. Now,
Well,
wait
he
a minute.
can't either.
Groucho, what you need is a mustard plaster.
Who wants to get plastered on mustard? You haven't got an old quart of bourbon, have you?
No, we haven't.
Well, even
And
a new
Groucho-
quart will do.
Well, what? What?
Skip it, huh?
Okay.
I'll get it myself.
This business of your having a cold is ridiculous anyway. It's all in your mind. When you get up in the morning, just say, I haven't got a cold. I haven't got a cold.
I tried that this morning.
Well, how did it work?
I don't know. I sneezed so loud I couldn't hear what I was saying. I wonder who that can be. It's not the postman. He always rings twice.
So would
So
I.
would I.
Well,
Atlanta
then
China.
it-
No, wait a minute.
Oh,
We have to
it-
read your own
Well,
line.
all right. It wasn't much of a line anyway.
No, it's hardly worth fighting over. So would I. If Lana Turner was there. You can have it. I mean, you can have the line.
Listen, I think I know who that is at the door, Grouch. Look, I hope you won't be offended, but I heard you were very ill, so I took the liberty of having my own personal physician come over. Do you mind? I'll let him right in. Oh, Doctor, I'm so glad you got here.
Well, Mr. Von Zell, hope I'm in time. Is the the patient here?
Yes, come right in. Dr. Dindledorfer, I'd like you to meet Miss Marilyn Maxwell.
Miss the Marilyn Maxwell?
How do you do?
I've long been an admirer of yours, Miss Maxwell.
But, Doc, I'm the patient.
Stay under the blankets, Bud. Miss Maxwell.
Aw, you can call me Marilyn.
Oh, Marilyn.
But, Doc, look, I'm the patient.
Under the blankets, Bud. Marilyn, I think you're beautiful.
You're pretty cute yourself.
But, Doc, I'm the patient.
Under the blanket, Bud. Yeah, and that dress, that's quite a dress you're wearing.
Do you think it fits me well?
Does it fit you well?
Hey, I'm getting warm under these blankets.
So am I, and I haven't even got a blanket. Mr. Marx, you're a very sick man. But fortunately, I am one of the few physicians who can cure a cold.
Is that right, Doc?
Thanks. See, my theory is that one must fight a cold with cold. Miss Maxwell, would you mind stepping into the next room?
Well, not at all.
Now, Mr. Marx, if you'll just step out of bed. That's good. Now take your pajama top off. Fine. Now stand right in front of this window.
The window. Shall I open it now, Doctor?
Yes, Mr. Von Zell.
Hey. Achoo! Hey, what are you trying to do? Hey, shut that window.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Marx. You already have a cold. You can't get too cold.
No, but I can get double pneumonia.
Now, Groucho, don't argue with the doctor.
You see, Mr. Marx, as I told you, my method is to fight cold with cold. Now just stand in this basin of ice water.
It's cold.
Well, Von Zell, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays. How's trade?
Oh, fine. Can't kick. How are things with you?
Oh, can't kick.
Neither can I. My feet are frozen.
Oh, Groucho, stop being a sissy. An Eskimo would laugh at a thing like that.
Yeah, well, let's get a few in the audience, huh?
Some Eskimos are particular, you know. Oh, dear. Tell me, Doc, have you seen any of the boys around lately?
The boys?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I bumped into Jim Mason only yesterday.
No.
Yeah.
Good old Jim Mason.
Oh, wonderful fellow, Jim Mason.
Prince among men, Jim Mason.
Hey, if you fellas want to drink a toast to Jim, I got plenty of ice water here.
Quiet, Groucho. By the way, Doc, I understand Jim married old Charlie Hildebrand's daughter, Mabel.
Oh, no. Little Mabel Hildebrand married old Charlie Wiedemeyer.
Well, that must be the Charlie Wiedemeyer whose father owned the cigar store on 4th and Palm.
No. Charlie Wiedemeyer's father owned a hardware store on 3rd and O.
Oh.
By the way, whatever happened to old Jim Mason?
Well, he married it.
Doesn't seem like a cold to me, eh?
Mr. Marx, I told you not to get dressed. Now, what's the idea of putting on that blue sweater?
That's no sweater, that's me. Come in.
How do you do? I'm Dr. Billingsley. Where's the patient?
Oh, here he is,
This
right
place
over
has got
here.
more doctors than seat is 11 of them.
Hey, wait a minute. Would you mind opening your mouth again, son?
Who, me?
You, yes, sir. Oh, boy, I wouldn't want to be in the shape you're in.
Who would?
Say, how long have you been walking around like this?
About 35 years. Why?
Why, son, you're critically ill.
I am?
Yes, you are. And my advice to you is to stand in a basin of ice water.
Ice water? Critically ill? Well, what about the show tonight? Who's going to do the show? I'm sick. Groucho, would you go on for me tonight?
But, Harry, what about my cold?
Oh, Groucho, you haven't got a cold. The doctor I sent for is a fake.
Von Zell, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Well...
How could you do this to me? Your oldest and closest friend. Your oldest, anyway. And your closest, too, I think. Well, you're nothing but a quick frozen Benedict Arnold.
Please.
All right, I'll do the show for you, but I can never forgive you. I'm telling you, Marilyn, that Von Zell is nothing but a contemptible cur.
Oh, but Groucho, are you still so angry at Harry?
Of course I am. Imagine him bringing in a fake doctor so we couldn't be together on the show tonight.
Yes, that is a cheap trick. But tell me, Groucho, who was that doctor who put Harry to bed?
Oh, him? Oh, he's the fake doctor I sent for.
So this is Dr. Hackenbush, the famous medico. You're welcome, Dr. Hackenbush.
If that's the case, I'll go.
Oh, no, you mustn't go.
Who said I mustn't go? The only reason that I came is so that I can go. I'm Dr. Hackenbush. My medical standing's very high. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Hackenbush.
He's Dr. Hackenbush.
I'm Dr. Hackenbush. As a matter of fact, to be exact, I'm Dr. Hackenbush.
I'm sure we all would like to hear to blow. There's one thing that you ought to know. I'm Dr. Hackenbush, which all my friends will verify. Well, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Hackenbush.
He's Dr. Hackenbush.
I'm Dr. Hackenbush. You never would guess, but nevertheless, I'm Dr. Hackenbush. For ailments abdominal, my charges are nominal. Though I'm great for, I've a rate for tonsillectomy. Sick and healthy, poor and wealthy, come direct to me. Oh, God bless you, they yell, when I send them home well. But they never, no, they never send a check to me. I've won a claim for curing ills, both in the North and South. You'll find my name is like my pills in everybody's mouth. I've never lost a case.
He's never lost a case.
I've lost a lot of patients, but I've never lost a case. My diagnosis never fails. I know just what to do. Whenever anybody ails, I'm sympathetic too. My heart within me melts.
His heart within him melts.
No matter what I treat him for, they die from something else. When your nerves start to rock, put your faith in your doc. When you're sick, he will stick to the air. With the possible exception of your mother, a doctor's a man's best friend.
Yes, a doctor's a man's best friend.
A doctor's a man's best friend. Oh, a doctor's a man's best friend.
A doctor is a
man. Right or wrong, wrong or right, night and day, day and night. On his call you can always depend. With the possible exception of your mother and your father and your sister and your brother and your nephews and your nieces and your uncles and your cousins whom you number by the dozens. A doctor's a man's best friend.
I'm still a little mystified about Chico Marx turning into an orchestra leader. And the last time I saw you, Chico, you were riding too high on a bicycle around a big store from the picture of the same name. How come this switch all of a sudden to orchestra leading?
Oh, I tell you, Tobe, it's this way. All of a sudden, I got the idea I like the lead of the band. So I think, who's the best man to help me build a band? And I think of just the man. He was in Hollywood, too. His name is Ben Pollock.
Not the Ben Pollock. You mean the man we've often told our bandwagon passengers all about? Ben Pollock, the daddy of swing?
That's the one. How do you like to meet him, Tobe?
Oh, I'd like to meet him, Chico, and I'd like our passengers to know him, too.
Come here, Shorty. Shake hands with Toby.
Hello, Ben. Really, it's a pleasure to have you here on the Old Fitch bandwagon.
I feel right at home here, Toby. So many of the boys who played with you as your guests, I feel that I know you so well.
Yes, we've had a lot of the boys who spent their early days with you, as a matter of fact, Ben. Jack Teagarden, Benny Goodman. Gosh, I could go on and name any number.
There's Harry James, Glenn Miller, Charlie Spivak, Bob Chester, Muggsy Spaniard.
Oh, no, you can stop right there. We'll be here till Tuesday. You know, I'll never forget the swing band you brought to New York in 1929 to open the Park Central Hotel. That band contained many of our present-day name leaders. No doubt Benny Goodman deserved his title of King of Swing, but I'm sure no one would dispute your right to be called the Daddy of Swing. Say, Chico, I'd say that you sure picked a winner when you got Ben Pollock as your co-worker. Who did he play with?
Who did he play with? Why, he played with Rimsky-Korsakov, Shostakovich, Mussorgsky, Prokofiev, Bateri.
Man, he really must know his music.
What do you mean, music? That's the Notre Dame football team.
Oh, it is, huh? Well, if that's the Notre Dame football team, let's see him tackle one of these Chico Marx versions of Pagliacci, and I mean the real one.
Okay, 1472, 1673, hike!
swing arrangement of Pagliacci played by the Chico Marx Orchestra. And believe me, that is a sensational arrangement.
We're happy to have with us this Sunday one of my favorite comedians, Mr. Groucho Marx. Hello, Groucho.
Francis, I just heard that there are a bunch of Marines here. You know, I've got a nephew in the Marines.
Oh, how does he like it?
How does he like it? Listen to this letter I just got.
All right.
Here, just pull up my lap and sit down. He says, Dear Uncle Groucho, I'm writing this letter to prove to you that life in the Marines isn't all you've been led to believe. Only one fellow I met here has a real tough job. He has to water the oak leaves on the major's shoulders. And my top sergeant is so sweet and considerate, we all call him Mom. Let me tell you what happens here on a typical day.
Yoo-hoo. Private Marx. Yoo-hoo.
Oh, where am I?
You're in the Marines, and it's time to get up.
Who are you?
I'm your sergeant. It's almost time for breakfast. It's 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? I distinctly remember leaving my call for 11:30.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's probably all my fault. But since you're awake now, how about getting up and having breakfast?
Oh, I'm a lazy old private this morning. I think I'll have breakfast in bed. Besides, I just can't make up my mind what to wear.
Doesn't nice Private Groucho Woucho want to go to the mess hall with nice Sargy Wargy?
Well, maybe you've got something. Maybe you've got something. But first, I better make my bed.
You know the first lieutenant always makes your bed. This is the mess hall, Private Marx.
I see. What's the inscription over the door?
Oh, that. It says, through these portals pass the most beautiful kitchen police in the world.
Good morning, Private.
Oh, Groucho, this is Tony Romano, our steward. He comes from a long line of English butlers.
Well, tell him to get off the line and serve breakfast.
Breakfast is quite ready, sir. We have roasted pheasant, caviar, coddled eggs.
Oh, darn, the same old things. Why don't they give us what we really want? Mush.
Oh, I'll inform the chef, sir. He always welcomes suggestions. Now, begging your pardon, sir, would you and the sergeant prefer to be seated in the patio or in our intimate dining lounge in the radar room?
Oh, we'll just rough it at the colonel's table.
Very good, sir, but Colonel Carpenter hasn't finished his breakfast yet.
I'll take care of that. Well, good morning, Colonel.
Private Marx. And Sergeant Langford. Good morning indeed.
At ease, Colonel.
Oh, thank you. Oh, did you and the sergeant want my table?
Yes, Colonel, we're famished.
Well, of course, by all means. I'll just grab a bite somewhere else. Terribly sorry I kept you waiting.
That's quite all right, but see that it doesn't happen again.
I won't. Oh, by the way, Private, I noticed that your shoes aren't shined, your tie is untied, your brass is all smudgy, and your coat is completely unbuttoned.
Is something wrong with that, Colonel?
Oh, no. No, that's what we like. Just be yourself. And by the way, I'm having 500 beautiful girls here tonight to dance with you fellows.
Oh, rats. There goes my checker game.
But tomorrow, I'm afraid you may be asked to report aboard ship. We're going for a little sail. However, our destination will be decided by popular vote.
I'm sorry, Colonel, but I won't be able to join you. I've got a 12-hour pass.
A 12-hour pass? Why, you can't have any fun in 12 hours.
That's what you think.
Here, I'll write you out a 6-day pass. No, on second thought, I'll just leave the time blank and you can fill it out yourself.
Splendid, I'll do that. Well, good day, Colonel. You may go now. Oh, gosh, I'm tired. Sure was a busy day. Oh, I'm glad all us Marines get these springy rest mattresses. Oh. Come in. Oh, hello, Sargy.
Good evening, Private.
Are you going to sing me to sleep again tonight?
Why, of course I am. Now lie back and we'll have you off to dreamland in no time. Rock-a-bye, Groucho, here's the Sandman.
I saw you first, so tell him to scram.
Close little eyelids, try to count sheep. So rock-a-bye, Groucho, time for your sleep.
The GI Journal goes to press. GI Journal. It's the GI Journal.
Hello, Editor-in-Chief Groucho Marx speaking. What's that? You want to put an ad in GI Journal? Wait a minute, I'll get a pencil. Okay, shoot. Young man with high starch collar would like to meet girl with hair piled high above her head. Object, clang, clang, clang. Yes, we'll print it right up. That reminds me, I hope somebody answers my ad for a secretary. That's either an answer to the ad or a termite with brass knuckles. Come in.
Hello, Groucho.
Well, Lucille Ball.
Groucho, I came here in answer to your ad for a secretary. Would you like to hear my qualifications?
Never mind, I can see him. You're one secretary I can take on face value. And the rest of you is pretty valuable, too.
Thank you.
Let me have your hat. Let me have your coat. Just stick your shoes in the corner.
Now, just a minute.
Yes, we'll play shoes in the corner.
Now, just a minute, Groucho. That baying won't do you any good. I'm just here to be your secretary. I have no intention of spending all day running around this desk.
Good. I've always wanted a secretary that wouldn't run. Also, some shirts. I'm really glad you applied for the job. I haven't seen you in quite a while, although I've heard plenty about your brother, Miss Ball.
What brother?
One meat. Well, so much for family affairs, Lucille. Let's get down to work.
Fine.
What are you doing after work?
I'm sorry, Groucho. I never mix business with pleasure.
So much for business. Let's get down to pleasure. Let me have your hat. Let me have your coat. Just stick your shoes in the corner.
Groucho, I can't understand you.
I don't know why not. I'm a very simple man with very simple taste. I like nothing better than to sit in front of an open fire with a dog and a pipe. Of course, if you can't get a pipe, you smoke a cigar.
Please, Groucho, we're not getting anywhere.
You may not be getting anywhere, but I'm 2 feet closer than when you first came in.
What is it with you, Groucho? I'll bet you think of nothing but women from morning till night.
I also mess with Mr. In-Between. Gosh, Lucille, a pretty girl like you. Aren't you interested in men?
One subject at a time. We were talking about you.
You've cut me to the quick, but it's not your fault. I just happen to have a very touchy quick. Oh, well, if you really want to go to work, take a letter.
Go ahead.
To whom it may concern. Dear to whom?
Dear to whom? Who's whom?
There's nobody home, but you'll find the key under the doormat. Never mind. Take an office, inter-office communication. Dear Johnny Weissmuller.
Johnny Weissmuller? Is he working on GI Journal?
Of course. He's in charge of the Wildlife column.
Really? Where is he now?
I read that badly. He's in charge of the Wildlife column. There's nothing there.
Really? Where is he now?
Probably at the Palladium. He leads a pretty wild life, you know.
Gee, Johnny Weissmuller. Tarzan himself. He's so strong and so muscular. He's a real ape man.
Ape man, indeed. What about me?
Well, I've seen you make a monkey of yourself, too. Gosh, I'd love to meet Johnny.
Come in. Revolving door.
Johnny Weissmuller!
coming along?
Great. Now, how about an introduction?
An introduction? Certainly. My name is Groucho Marx. Glad to know you.
I'm glad to know you too, Johnny. I'm Lucille Ball.
The pleasure's all mine. Gee, you're sweet.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, you're keen.
Oh, you're wonderful. So strong and manly.
You're beautiful.
Anybody want to shoot a game of pool?
I'm getting kind of hungry. Do you mind if I go to lunch, Chief?
I guess you'd better. You've had a very busy day so far.
Pardon me, Miss Ball, but I'd like to take you to lunch.
Oh, I'd love to go to lunch with you, Johnny. See you later, Groucho.
So long, Chief.
Fine thing. He's taking her to lunch, and only this morning he promised to split his coconut with me. Come in.
Hello.
Well, if it isn't Grabble Gertie. What are you here from Stonewall Jackson?
Is this the office of the GI Journal?
Yes, it is. What can I do for you that wouldn't get me 10 years in the federal pen?
My name is Tessie Schmuggelmeyer, and I'd like to put an ad in your classified section.
Oh, I see. Well, pull up a bulldozer and sit down. Just, what is it you want us to print?
I'm offering a $50,000 reward for the return of my Cocker Spaniel.
$50,000 for a Cocker Spaniel?
Yes.
Hand me that flea powder. I'm yours.
Mr. Marx, it seems to me you're crazy about money.
Money? Why, money is the root of all evil. It's the cause of all the unhappiness and tragedy in this world.
I have $3 million.
Marry me and make me miserable. And I think you're the kid who can do it.
You know, I also have 40 acres.
Yes, I see you brought him with you. Let me put my arms around your subdivisions.
Oh, Mr. Marx.
You have 40 acres, and I have 40 acres. We'll get married, go on a honeymoon, and pretty soon, who knows, we'll have 80 acres.
Oh, this is love at first sight. The minute I saw your clothes, I was crazy about you.
Why? What was I wearing that attracted you?
Pants.
That's right, I was wearing them. Ah, my dear, you remind me of something all the world is searching for and cannot find.
I do.
Yes, you're so round, so firm, so fully packed. And I'll bet you light up quicker, too. Yes, darling, let me cover your face with kisses. On second thought, just let me cover your face.
No. I have guys by the dozen.
Really?
Yes. They're afraid to go out with me unless they're in groups.
Forget about all the others, moneybags. Just let me hold you close.
Mr. Marx, just what is your objective?
It ain't Burma. Ah, girly girl, I fell for you the minute you told me you were loaded.
When will you marry me?
As soon as I get loaded. Come in.
Hello, boss.
Oh, it's you, Johnny. Sugar cake, I want you to meet Johnny Weissmuller.
Oh.
What's the matter with her?
Don't you see? Her bobby socks are quivering.
Mr. Marx, our engagement is broken. Johnny Weissmuller, come here, you big, strong brute, and overpower poor, weak me.
I'm betting on poor, weak you.
Shall we go to a restaurant for some lunch?
I just had lunch.
Shall we go outside for a cigarette?
I don't smoke.
Then let's go to a bar for some cocktails.
I don't drink.
Take him to a pool. I know he can swim. Oh, well, if I were a famous guy from Africa, the girls would flock around me, too. Yes, sir. Livingston Mark, the famous African explorer. I can picture the whole thing now.
Africa, the mysterious continent. Africa, dim, dark, beautiful.
Now, isn't that ridiculous? If it's so dim and dark, how does he know it's beautiful? Oh, well, I must get on with my expedition. I'll have to call my number one boy. Where's my number one boy?
Here I am, Chief.
Why aren't the boys at home built like this? Oh, water. Please. I must have water. Water.
Are you thirsty, Chief?
No, but if I don't rinse my undies, who'll dance with me?
Don't you think we've stayed at this spot long enough?
You're right. We must move along, Miss Ball. We shall go straight forward.
Have you looked over the terrain?
I haven't taken my eyes off you all day. Get our expedition together. Marx is on the move.
I've been meaning to ask you something, Chief. This is the smallest expedition I ever saw. Do you realize that there's just you and me in this safari?
Well, what's so wrong with that? So fairy, so goody. But enough of this. Let's get going.
Okay, but be careful on the trail, Chief. I think there's an elephant pit ahead.
Nonsense. You must be mistaken.
No, I'm not, Chief. There's an elephant pit ahead.
How do you like that? I've had trouble with oranges and lemons, but I never knew elephants had pits. Sometimes I wonder why I continue with this expedition. Months and months searching through Africa.
Don't you remember, Chief? You're looking for the missing link.
So I am, Miss Ball. Sometimes I wish you had never dropped that charm bracelet.
How can you joke about this, Chief? Why, the entire civilized world is waiting for you to discover the missing link.
But sometimes I get so discouraged.
I know. But I'm here, and I insist that you carry on.
Well, that's nice, because you're just the girl I'd like to carry on with. But I must warn you, the jungle is a dangerous place.
I'm not afraid of danger.
You know what it is to walk along, surrounded on all sides by fierce howling?
Certainly, I've entertained at army camps. But you're right about those wild animals, Chief. Look in that tree behind you. I just spotted a leopard.
Really? I thought they were born that way. Never mind that leopard. I see a zebra up ahead in the clearing.
Oh, yes. Just look at those beautiful stripes.
We're going after that zebra. Quick, hand me my paintbrush.
You can't kill him with a paintbrush.
Who wants to kill him? I just want to reduce him to a PFC.
Oh, I have a feeling something terrible is going to happen. Listen. Drums. I wonder what they're saying.
They're saying dum-tiddy-yum, tiddy-yum-dum-dum.
I think the headhunters are on the warpath.
Stay right where you are.
This kid isn't hunting for another head. She should be.
Look, it's the queen of the Amazons. This must be Amazon territory.
Amazon? You mean those big, strong women?
Well, what did you think I was, a river?
Well, you could be, from the way you've overflowed your banks.
What are you Amazons going to do with us?
We are not interested in you. It's this man we want. We Amazons haven't seen a man in 20 years. And now we finally got one.
What are you going to do to me?
Tomorrow night, we're going to put you in a room and file in one by one and find out what 5 o'clock shadow looks like.
Groucho, let's get out of here. Let's make a break for it.
It won't do you any good. You're surrounded. There's a girl behind every tree.
What is this, Africa or Griffith Park?
You're my captain, and I'm going to lock you up. If you don't abide by your decision, we'll have you beheaded.
What is your decision?
We'll have you beheaded.
Will you give me just 10 minutes?
What for?
I want to go out and sell my neckties. Gosh, of all times to be captured, just when I was about to discover the missing link. Never has anyone been so close to that gruesome half-man, half-beast.
You said it. Move over.
I can't move. I'm tied up like a sailor's allotment.
Well, I wish they hadn't tied us to the same tree anyway. What do you think these Amazons are going to do with us?
I don't know what they'll do to you, but judging from that glint in the Queen's eye, what's going to happen to me shouldn't happen to the guy who censored this line.
Only a miracle can save us. What in the world was that?
That's Dr. Bowen, your friendly credit dentist.
Ooh, what a magnificent physique. Look at him swinging through those trees.
What's so hard about that? Everybody travels like that down here. What are you expecting to do, take the Sunset bus?
Wait, he's heading right for me.
Why shouldn't he head for you? All he can get from me is a cool glance and a chest full of cigar ashes.
Quiet, here he comes.
Me, Tarzan.
Me, Lucille Ball.
Me like you.
Me like you.
Me glad.
Me nauseous.
Who that? Where's sound come from?
Right over there, right over here. This is a two-family tree.
Who you?
Outside of being nauseous, I'm Livingston Marx, the great explorer. Now be a nice ape man and untie these thongs.
Thongs?
Yes, and if you say you're welcome, I'll never see another Tarzan picture as long as I live. Now
Wait.
cut these ropes.
Wait, if Tarzan save you, will you help Tarzan find boy?
Boy?
Tarzan's son. Him disappear a long time ago. Right after man who fly like bird, bring white paper.
What did it say on the paper?
Greetings.
If you get us out of this, we'll do everything we can to help you find your son.
Look, something's crawling out of the underbrush.
Hey, who that?
Good afternoon. How do you do? I'm Saturday. Hello, Papa.
You got a uniform on. Who are you, anyway?
I'm a Colonel, Private Sad Sack.
Private Sad Sack? What are you doing in the heart of the Belgian Congo?
Belgian Congo? Huh, I knew I shouldn't have turned left on Vine Street.
Boy, how did you come home?
Well, Pop, I got a plane that's the priority. See, I took a steamboat. I got a lift on the destroyer. I took it to how do you get a Jeep out of Second?
Tarzan, glad to see Boy. Now you help me save Explorer.
Oh, sure. I'll save.
You don't quit saving. People will think you're Jack Benny. Look, Boy, on the other side of tree. Pretty girl. Make fine mate for Tarzan, Boy.
Hello, Sacky, darling.
Someone whistle for me.
It's the Queen of the Amazons. Quick, Tarzan, Sack, hide. Right.
Hello, you two. How's every little thing?
Oh, we can't kick. In fact, we can't even move.
You'll have to excuse my lack of hospitality. I've been having a facial. It does wonders for my complexion. Do you like the color?
Yes, it's very becoming. Elephant wallow gray. Now get these ropes off us, Queen. I've got friends in the jungle. If you don't let us go, I'll call Tarzan.
You'll call Tarzan. That's a hot one. Come out of those bushes, you weasel.
Yes, ma'am. Here I am. Tarzan loves Jane.
Jane, are you Jane?
Of course I'm Jane. Who do you think I was?
Phil Spitalny's brass section.
Now?
And don't Spitalny floor.
Come on, back to your hut, Tarzan. How many times must I tell you to stop running around the jungle without your Dr. Denson's on? Wait, somebody else is skulking around in those bushes. Come out of there, you. Coming, Mother.
Wait a minute. Turn around, Sack. At last, I found it, the missing link. There's just one thing I must know. How did you ever pass the physical to get into the Army?
Well, the day I was inducted, by the entire draft, the draft, the examining physician, all the doctor, I wore my tail up that day.
Well, gang, I see it's time to lock up the presses for the night, but first I want to thank our four-star reporters for getting out this edition of G.I. Journal. This is Groucho Marx saying, so long, men.
Once upon a time, there were 4 little Marx brothers who were the funniest things you ever saw. One little Marx brother became an agent, and then there were 3. Another little Marx brother became a radio comedian, and then there were 2. The 2 little Marx brothers who were left looked at each other, and one of them said, "Here's the way I get off." To which the other replied, "Honk, honk." But the Marx brother who got offer is honor tonight, Chico Marx.
Thank you very much. Major, you got a violin or a cello there, something?
Just the man for it, Chico. Private Dave Newman.
Oh,
Little.
Dave? Oh, Dave. Come here. Vieni qua. Come here. Dave, do you know that beautiful thing called Gypsy Love Song?
I know the chorus.
You know the chorus. Well, if I played the voice, maybe you could follow me, huh?
You play the verse, and I'll noodle around a little.
You're going to noodle around, huh? What do you mean by noodling? What's noodling?
Like this.
That's fine. That's good. You noodle on that, and I'll macaroni on this.
you got friends out there and you want to make good, but don't play better than me, will you? Play about the same. Same thing. Let's get together. That's it. Sounds like a slow leak you got. That was very good, Dave. Now we're going to try the chorus. But the chorus, we're going to play pianissimo. You know what pianissimo is?
No.
You don't know pianissimo? How long you study music?
15 years.
You know, 2 more years you could have been a plumber? Years, huh? All right, I make it very simple for you. We play it allegro pizzicato. Hey, fellas, allegro. That's a high class. You don't know that?
No.
You must have been with Spike Jones's band. Do you know what pistachio is?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Play pistachio, that's all. Little pistachio.
Thank you, Chico Marx.
Pardon me, is this the Bird's Eye Open House that advertises frozen foods? Uh-huh. And I presume you're Miss DINAH?
Sure?
Uh-huh. Then this is the program on which Mr. Groucho Marx is supposed to?
Supposed to what?
Uh-huh. Would you mind stepping aside so that I can spray the microphone?
No,
Wait a minute
now, wait.
Don't spray the
Just
microphone.
Stop this, my obese friend. Who are you?
My name is Amoeba J. Beck.
Tyria?
Uh-huh. I am Mr. Marx's personal disinfector, and I'm supposed to sterilize everything. You may not remember, but when Mr. Marx was here last time, he caught a very nasty.
Cold?
No, I'm just comfy. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to spray the rest of this.
No, wait. Now, just a minute, Mr. Bacteria. I've got something to say about this.
Hello?
Hello, Dinah. This is Groucho. Did my personal disinfector get there yet?
Yes, Groucho, and I wish you'd come over and stop him. He's disinfecting everything in the studio.
Where is he now?
He's going around Harry Von Zell with a spray gun.
Well, that's quite a trip. You better get a road map. And tell him not to take Road 7. The bridge is out.
You better tell him that yourself.
I can. My bridge is out, too.
Mr. Bacteria, Mr. Marx wants to talk to you.
Thank you. Did you use this telephone to talk to Mr.?
Marx?
Uh-huh. Excuse me.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello. Is this Mr. Bacteria?
You were expecting maybe Mrs.?
Did you take care of everything?
Uh-huh. And I figured it'll cost you exactly.
Well, that's reasonable enough. I'll send you a check.
Just send it to.
It'll be a pleasure. I didn't know you moved.
I didn't move. They just changed the address.
Well, I don't want to get into an argument. I'll just drop it in the mailbox.
Which mailbox?
I don't care. Have you any favorites?
Oh, yes. Margaret O'Brien.
Ask her if she's got a friend. I'll call you back in 12 years. Tell me sure. I'll be right over.
Huh?
Just a playful little sprayful. That means I love...
Oh, isn't that...
Oh, no, please.
Dinah, listen, we've got to do something to get rid of that little bug killer.
I know it, Harry, but I'm not worrying about that so much. What we have to do is cure Groucho's complex. I wonder if I could use psychiatry on him.
Dinah, what do you know about psychiatry?
Well, I've seen all the latest movies, haven't I?
Well, now, just what will you do?
We'll just have to delve into his past and find out if anything ever happened in his childhood that might be troubling him now.
Oh, Fap. How can you cure him now by finding out what happened to him when he was a kid?
Look, Harry, if Ingrid Bergman can cure Gregory Peck's brilliant mind, then I can certainly cure Groucho Marx's...
Mind?
Oh, not at all. I'd love to.
What was that? Oh, wait a minute. Here comes Groucho now. He's right behind Mr. Bacteria.
Company, halt! So far, so good, Bacteria. Now, are we ready to go on with the show?
Uh-huh.
Very well. Hot water?
Hot.
Disinfecting soap?
Disinfecting.
Sanitary mask?
Sanitary.
Okay, Dinah, you may kiss me now.
Groucho, what on earth are you brushing off your suit that way?
Germs, millions of them. Germs with green heads, with blue heads, with red heads. Red heads? By the way, whatever happened to that little waitress at the Brown Derby?
Oh, you're just imagining all this, Groucho, but if you'll cooperate with me, I'm sure I can cure you.
Oh, now see how lucky you are? You now have a lady doctor.
Give that lady $10 silver. And now, madam, what is my problem?
Your problem is that you're always brushing imaginary germs off your suit. Now, look, Groucho, just relax your mind and think of nothing.
How can I do that?
Well, try it this way. Think of a round circle.
But there's nothing inside of it.
That's it. Then your mind's a blank?
A complete blank?
It's a big improvement, too.
Von Zell, if my mind weren't a blank, I'd tell you where to get off. If I was running a bus.
Oh, boys, please, come on now. Don't interrupt the experiment. Groucho, are you thinking of a circle?
Yes.
Now think of an X.
I've got it.
Now a circle.
Go ahead.
Now an X.
Right.
Now a circle.
Hold it.
What happened?
I just beat myself at tic-tac-toe.
That isn't isn't what I mean at all, Groucho. Now, please stop brushing those imaginary germs off your suits.
I can't help it. I can't help it. Mr. Bacteria. Thank you very much.
Gosh almighty, he's really got it bad, hasn't he, Dinah?
Oh, I should say. Maybe I ought to try to analyze his dreams, Harry.
Dreams, that's right. Every dream has a hidden meaning, doesn't it?
Groucho, what did you dream about last night?
Last night, I dreamed I was at the racetrack at Santa Anita.
Well, who did you bet on?
A horse, of course.
Well, who was the horse?
I was. Who'd you think was the horse? One of the horses?
Please forgive me, Groucho. It was a natural mistake. Imagine me thinking a horse is a horse. Silly, isn't it? I suppose you were the jockey, too.
Of course I was. You don't think I let a stranger on my back?
You take him, Dinah.
Okay, Groucho, how could you be both horse and jockey?
It was a small dream. Everybody had to play two parts.
Look, have you had any other dreams where you weren't a horse?
Well, I dreamt I was a cow for 3 weeks, but it was too nerve-wracking. I couldn't get my pajamas over my horns.
Look, Groucho, you don't mind if we get this out of the barn, do you, Groucho? Have you had any beautiful dreams lately?
Yes, once I dreamt I dwelt in marble halls.
Ah, I wonder what that means.
I fell asleep in the bathtub.
Well, you take him, Dinah.
Okay.
Well, wait till I get out of the tub.
Groucho, you know you should never fall asleep while you're taking a bath.
I wasn't taking a bath. I was just lying there thinking about it.
Groucho, look, concentrate.
It was my wedding, and they were giving me a shower.
Let's go into this just a little more deeply, can we?
Well, wait till I turn off the water.
Do you have any dreams that occur frequently?
Yes, every night in my dreams, I come to a door with a big sign on it. Then I push it and push it with all my might, but it won't open.
Well, what does the sign say?
It says pull.
You take him, Dinah.
Now I see the cause of your frustration. I see it all. You're trying to get back into your past, but you can't open the door to it. Now, do as I say, Groucho. Let's go back to your childhood.
Okay. I'll bank the 8-ball in the side pocket.
No, I'm talking about another part of your childhood.
Okay, shoot the $20.
I'll take 10 of it. Wait, no. You see, Dinah, it's no
10
good.
open here. 10 open.
Oh, stop it. Don't you understand, Dinah? His mind is all cluttered up with the wrong things.
Just a second, my well-rounded eager freezer. How did you spend your childhood?
Me? I lived in a little romantic town, Groucho.
Really?
Yes, on cold winter nights when the moon was shining, the girls and boys would go down to the pond and we'd ice skate.
So far, nobody's made a buck.
You can make fun if you want to, but it was really wonderful. After a while, we'd go off in couples to the side of the lake and see who could freeze their spinach first. As a matter of fact, the winner was entitled to be called Birdseye for the rest of the week.
Now, you see?
Beautiful.
You see, Groucho, that's exactly what I mean. Can you think of any outstanding incident in your youth?
Yes. It happened one night while I was taking a walk with my sweetheart and her boyfriend. At that time, we lived in a tough neighborhood. There was an old house on top of the hill. Nobody ever dared go near it until that fateful night.
Hey, fellas. Come on, let's take a walk over to the haunted house, hey?
Oh, boy, that's a swell idea. Hey, maybe we can find a couple of ghostses, huh?
Wow.
Boy, wouldn't it be wonderful if I could get me mother a sheet for her bed, huh? What do you say, huh, Marx? Huh, Marx, huh?
Personally, I'd rather get down to the drugstore and have a Coke.
A Coke? What fun is that? You can't get killed that way.
I can choke on a straw, can't I?
Oh, boy. Just listen to the wind whistle through that old haunted house.
There must be a sailor on the roof.
Don't be silly. What would a sailor be doing up there?
Why not? It's a tar roof. Some of those guys got shingles. I ain't going in that haunted house.
Now, wait a minute, Marx. You know we don't like sissies. Either you come on up with us or you'll get what you're looking for.
Since this was no place to get what I was looking for, we continued on our way up the hill. Then, in the eerie blackness of the night, I saw a white owl. Naturally, I picked it up and smoked it. It was the first time I'd ever smoked a cigar. And after 2 puffs, I realized I was a man. A sick man. Suddenly, there was a bolt of lightning.
Hey, Marx, where are you?
I'm over here, behind this tree.
What are you running away for? If lightning's gonna hit you, it's gonna hit you.
Well, if it's going to hit me, at least let it look for me.
Oh, wait a minute. You can't kid me, Marx. You're scared to death.
I am not. I always wear my hair straight up.
Hey, listen to that dog growling.
Yeah. Look, Marx, you go up there and take care of him.
Take care of him? I've got 3 uncles now I'm taking care of.
Now, don't worry about the dog growling. It just means he's smiling.
Yeah, the last time somebody told me that, a dog smiled right through the seat of my pants.
Hey, now, just a minute, Groucho. I thought you said you'd face death for me.
Yeah, but that dog isn't dead.
Now, listen to me, Marx. You know what I think of cowards. If you don't come along, I'll knock your ears off.
Since I didn't want my hat to fall down over my eyes, I continued with that. As we came to the door of the house, we sensed an odor of Limburger cheese. It had always been part of our neighborhood, but never as strong as this.
Stand back, everybody. I'm going to open that door.
Ooh, look at them big boxes in there, one on top of another.
I'll go in and open one of them. I'll prove to you that I'm not a coward.
My hero, what a man.
My friend, what a guy.
My goodness, what a smell. I was almost overpowered as I entered the old house. There was cheese to the left of me, cheese to the right of me. And there I stood, smellbound.
Well, what happened after that? There must be one more thing.
Finally, when I got outside, I found out that my loyal friends were halfway back to town.
What did you do?
I ran after them so fast that I became overheated and caught a bad cold.
Now, that's it. That's the answer. The memory of that cold is so unpleasant that it gave you a germ complex.
That's wonderful, Dinah. I'm so glad you cleared it up for me. I feel like a new man. It's great to be rid of those awful germs. And Harry, what are you doing?
Brushing these germs off my suit.
Hey.
Dinah, look, now Harry's got it.
Well, tell him to stop brushing them on me.
Oh, Mr. Bacteria, calling Philip Bacteria. That was Guilty, sung by Bing Crosby. I think he should demand a new trial, don't you, fellas?
I could swear I just heard Groucho Marx's voice.
Most people do when they hear it.
Take a bow, Groucho.
No instructions, please. I'm an old ham at this game.
Bow. Groucho, I must say you built yourself up quite an entrance there. Okay, get him out of it. You certainly know how to milk an audience.
I should know how to milk. When I was a baby, my nurse was Elsie the cow.
A cow for a nursemaid? Did your folks want you to be a farmer?
Yeah, some parents want their children to be musicians, so they get them a piano. But me, I had a cow to practice on. I was very clever, though, Bing. I learned to milk Elsie before I could talk.
Oh, you must have had a lot of pull.
Well, I certainly had my hands full. I learned a lot from that cow, Bing.
What?
Not cow, Bing. Is that your name, cow? You know, I can still brush away flies with my tail. And that's not easy.
Well, it'd be a cinch if you had a tail. Anyhow, Groucho, before we go completely daffy here, allow me to extend a warm, firm hand of welcome to Philco Radio Time.
Please do, but make sure that warm, firm hand contains a large, firm check.
You want a firm check?
Yes, the Philco firm, if you don't mind.
Don't tell me you're broke.
Of course I won't tell you. I'm no blabbermouth. A few years ago, I had enough money to choke a horse.
What happened?
I made a mistake. I bet on the horse instead of choking him.
Well, since you took a bath at the Downs, Groucho, I'll scratch out a check for you.
Look, I'll do my own scratching. Just use a pen, huh?
What's your real name, Groucho?
My real name is Dame May Whitty, but you can't notice it until I start walking.
Okay, Grouch, here's your loot. By the way, what are you doing in Chicago, anyhow? What's happening?
Well, I came here to settle my uncle's affairs. He left me his entire collection of over 400 clocks.
And you're winding up the estate.
That was my line at rehearsal. But I love Chicago. As a matter of fact, my grandfather's grandfather came here many years ago with a wagon load of coleslaw.
Why coleslaw?
Well, it took a lot of cabbage to live in Chicago those days. Anyhow, Bing, right after the program, I'm going to take you on a guided tour throughout the city in my glass-bottom bus. I'll show you Chicago from every angle.
You really know this town?
Do I know this town? Yeah. Well, I can remember way back when they had a Republican mayor.
Really? You do go back.
Yes, I do. I may as soon as this is over. Now, Crosby, I have two tours. There's the $3 tour and the $5 tour.
What's the difference between the $3 tour and the $5 tour?
Well, on the $5 tour, we close the windows when we pass the stockyards.
For $2 extra, you should burn incense.
Make it $3 extra, and I'll burn the bus. You will love this trip, though, Bing.
Clever, huh? We hit all the points of interest?
Oh, first I take you to the top of the Wrigley building.
Oh, how gay.
I even show you the juicy fruit room. From there, I point out such interesting shots as the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's in San Francisco. You can't see the Golden Gate Bridge from the Wrigley building.
I didn't say you could see it. I just said I'd point it out. As a matter of fact, you can hardly see Chicago from the Wrigley building. After that, I show you Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls is in Buffalo.
Niagara Falls is in what Buffalo?
Buffalo, New York.
Oh, well, that's different. I thought you were trying to tell me that some buffalo had swallowed Niagara Falls. Well, let's not argue about the falls. Come up to my room and take a shower. It's only water anyhow, huh?
Gotcha, I
just throw your hair on the bed, Bing.
Okay. I think your trip is a fraud. It's a swindle. A sightseeing tour of Chicago should include the Field Museum, the Shedd Aquarium, Soldiers Field, the Planetarium, Lincoln Park.
All right, wise guy. Here's $5. You show me around town, huh?
Well, you even left out the Art Institute. Now, if you'll stand by, Groucho, I should like to present a very talented young lady.
This girl is a dish. She doesn't have to have talent.
You're so right. But many of you in our radio audience have enjoyed this gal's records on Columbia album, or had the privilege of seeing her at the St. Regis in New York, the Empire Room in the Palmer House, or currently at the Mark Hopkins in San Francisco.
What is this girl, a traveling bellboy?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the Park Avenue hillbilly, Miss Dorothy Shay.
Gosh, thanks, Bing.
Well, it's certainly nice to see you, Dorothy.
Gee, Bing, ever since I've been in show business, I've wanted to be on your program. And now that I'm on it, I'm so scared I can hardly hold still.
Well, just grab a hold of me, Dorothy. We'll do a little rumba. No use wasting all that motion.
Listen, Crosby, you going to introduce me to this girl, or do I have to go outside and run over myself with my bus?
Pardon me, Groucho, pardon me. Dorothy Shay, may I present Groucho Marx?
I'm mighty thrilled to meet you, Mr. Marx.
Well, I should think you would be. I seem to be making progress. There will be a slight pause while I get rid of Crosby. Dorothy, I'm running a special moonlight tour for two. Shall we go?
Gee, I couldn't think of going without my mother.
I'm glad you mentioned her. We need someone to drive the bus.
What about me?
You can take tickets.
Shucks, Mr. Marx, I can't tell whether you're serious or just for corn pone.
Well, shucks, Dorothy, I must be serious. I never ate any corn pone in my life. And by the way, aren't we a little too far north for all this southern fried dialogue?
Well, you see, Groucho, Dorothy hails from Florida.
You mean she came by storm? That's ridiculous, hail from Florida, indeed.
Why, I've seen hailstones as big as oranges in Florida.
If Florida's so small, why doesn't it have oranges as big as oranges? Can you squeeze a hailstone and get orange juice?
Dorothy, while Groucho figures this thing out, how about a song, huh?
Well, I'm kind of bashful, so I thought maybe you and Mr. Marx might help me out.
Well, okay. Groucho, you want to help a lady in distress?
Sure will.
A fightin', a feudin',
and a fussin'. That's all that's going on with us. We are such neighborly people, peaceful and sweet.
All except when we happen to meet. Daughter, baby daughter, poisoned all the neighbors' chickens. Daughter, sure daughter, least till she could run like the dickens.
They hit her with a shovel.
Oh, feuding and fighting and a fussing. Ain't no use standing here a cussing. Let's give our daughter a pistol now that she's fall, and go feuding and fighting some more. A fussin', a fightin', and a feudin'. Why did that sheriff keep intruding?
He was a curious spitter, yes, he was swell.
It's a shame he was pushed down the well.
Water. The doggone stuff don't taste like it oughter. Look here, city slicker. That's why we all drink corn liquor.
It's better with your shoes off, feuding, a fussin' and a fightin'. Oh, Johnny, this ain't no corner you can brighten. Polish the shoe lines more, we're getting the air.
Feuding, a fightin', feuding and a fightin'.
A feuding and a fightin', a feuding and a fightin' again.
Well, passengers, if I can get our guest, Chico Marx, to make any sense at all, I think this is the proper place to find out how he and his brothers really started out. Were your parents on the stage before you, Chico?
No, Tobe. But my mother's brother was Al Sheen of Gallagher and Sheen. You see, she loved the stage, and she wanted us to follow in the footsteps of our famous uncle.
Well, she really got her wish, Chico. How did she go about it?
Well, you see, Groucho always had a good voice. You see, he sings pretty good yet. That is when he cuts out his clowning.
Which is kind of tough, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, it's a pretty tough. And Harpo taught himself to play the harp when he found an old harp in the attic left by my grandmother.
Well, believe me, he plays that harp all right. What was the start of the act as we know it today, Chico?
Well, Groucho, Harpo, and Zeppo were doing an act together in Waukegan, and my mother took me to see them. They didn't know I was coming. See, I hadn't been home in 5 years.
Well, I can imagine that was quite a reunion. No, it isn't what you think. He could have gone home. He just hadn't been home. Were they surprised to see you, Chico?
You bet they were. You see, I asked the orchestra leader of the theater to let me play the piano for their act. They didn't know I was there. He was a tired violin player. Maybe you heard of him.
Yeah, I think I know a tired violin player by the name of Ben Burney.
No, it's the other one, Jack Benny.
Well, I should have suspected when you mentioned Waukegan. Tell me, what happened when your brother spotted you out there in the orchestra?
Well, you see, Harpo saw me first. He had an orange under his hat that he used in the act. So he took it out and hit me right on the head with it. I threw it back and hit Groucho. And the act broke up with us throwing things at each other. The audience thought it was all part of the act, and they ate it up, and they decided to put me in it.
Well, I'm inclined to go right along with the audience, too. That gives us a good picture of the start of the Marx Brothers' style of comedy. Well, Chico, right here, I'd like the passengers to meet your beautiful and diminutive little blonde vocalist, Kim Kimberly. How about that?
Now you're talking to boss. Hey, Kim, come over here, honey. Hey, Tobe, isn't she cute?
No, she really is, Chico.
Oh, please, Chico, you mustn't put your arm around me.
What's the matter, Kim? Ain't I going to take you to Hollywood and make a big star out of you?
I don't want to be in pictures with you and your brothers.
What's the matter with my brothers?
Don't you know?
Sure, but I didn't think you did.
Well, I'm afraid of that little guy with the red hair. I'm a blonde, and I'm afraid he'd chase me all around.
You mean the Harpo? Well, don't worry, Kim. He chases you around, but he don't mean nothing.
No?
No. Look, I chase you around, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, I mean something.
Don't let him scare you, Kim. I think what he really means is that he wants you to sing that sensational number, Mr. 5 by 5.
wide. He don't measure no more from head to toe than he do from side to side. Mr. 555 got 15 chins and a line of jive. He's a Malibu cat, a real headbat. He be Mr. 555. That man can really jump, but for a fat man, the only trouble is there's no way of knowing whether he's coming on or going. Mr. 555, he's slightly plump on the solid side. He don't shake it no more from head to toe than he do from side to side.
Chico Marx and his orchestra, and frankly, I'm surprised that we got the bandwagon back here in one piece. Thanks for a really swell ride, Chico, and may you continue to break attendance records in Chicago's famous Black Hawk restaurant.
Next on MARX, Bobrick the Credit Dentist presents the All-Star Cowboy Hour.
We're back down the radio again. We're all on the stations again. You listeners near the stockyard, don't blame it on the stockyard. The air is just full of us.
Yes, sir, folks, we're brought to you by Bobrick, the painless dentist. Now, here's our theme.
Bobrick is a painless dentist. Of his painless work we sing. When he drills or hammers at you, Bobrick, he don't feel a thing.
Hey, Texas Mark, I hear you got one of them newfangled garbage disposers at your house.
Yep, I wrote my cousin Rube back in Arkansas about that garbage disposer. How it chores up the garbage, how he installed it under the sink.
What do you think of it?
He writ back and said the idea sounds fine, but I'll never understand how you manage to shove a pig down the drain.
Oh, Tex, man, you sure toss him out.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't toss out that one. Well, let's get Mendo a sad and sentimental tune, boys. What'll it be?
Well, I'm a sad and sorry sight tonight.
You sure is, but what'll we sing, eh? I'm dreaming of my old-time gal friend. It's a year ago I lost her, and today, a day, she was sweet and pretty, though her feet was awful dirty. She polished them on each and every day.
A day.
The days are getting too long. I'm sure I'll never see my gal friend. She'll never come back calling out my way. When I think of how I love her, as down the well I shoved her, I'd sure be surprised if she'd come back today.
Oh, that's real fine, Jack.
Well, listeners, that brings us to closing time again. We just got 50 or 60 minutes for a word about our sponsor. That's Bobrick, the friendly credit dentist.
Friend, step close to your radio. Confidentially, when it comes to money, Bobrick is a dope. So take advantage of the sucker. Sign up for his easy credit plan. No money down. Take as long as you want to pay. Take years.
Then when you're all paid up, come in. Tell Bobrick you're all paid up. He will cheerfully refund your gum.
Yeah, come in and walk out with Bobrick's teeth in your trap. Then your friends, too, will say...
Them teeth may fit Bobrick, but on you they stink. And now for the sign-off theme. Bobrick's false teeth are so lifelike, and they're sold on credit, too. Bring your gums to Bobrick's office. He will put the bite on you.
Groucho is on the phone. Here.
Oh, thank you, Harry. Hello, Groucho.
Hello, Dinah. I just called to tell you that I'm afraid I won't be able to come over tonight. I feel terrible.
Oh, why?
When I got up today, I realized it was spring here in California, so I put my head out of the window and took a deep breath.
What happened?
I almost drowned.
Well, why didn't you go to a doctor?
I couldn't. Harpo took the canoe.
Well, I'm awfully sorry you had so much trouble, Groucho. I hope you feel better real soon. Bye.
Ah, it's swell to be alone for a change. It'll give me a chance to finish my poem. As I sit here in my solitude, O spring, I say to thee, where art thou?
Here I am, Mr. Marx.
That's funny. I never knew I was a ventriloquist.
I'm the one who's talking, only I'm invisible.
You can't fool me with that invisible stuff. I can see right through you. It's not bad, either.
I am the secretary to the Spiwit Of Spwing.
Is that so? Take a letter.
Oh, no, I am a secretary only to spirits.
Spirits? Well, pull up a bottle and sit down.
Mr. Marx, I'm springtime. I'm going to make you love me, every month of me. Now, put your arms around me.
Aren't you getting a little heavy around your April?
Now I'm stroking your hair.
My hair? Never has so few been stroked so little by so nothing. What other head can make this statement?
Now I'm kissing you and you're making my whips burn.
No wonder. I got a cigar on my kisser.
When I stand near you and hold you close to me, what are you thinking?
You don't know where I can get an apartment, do you?
At Mrs. Murphy's, a block and a half down the street.
Wait a minute. I thought you were a spirit.
Well, I like to pick up a buck once in a while, too. But come with me and see how spring whacks at winter.
If he does, he's got a better script than I have. But let's go. Maybe I could steal a joke.
Oh, Spiwit Of Spwing, I have brought Mr. Groucho Marx back with me to the Bird's Eye Open House.
The Wasso. That will make Dinah and Howie very happy. But before we depart, let us give them a remembrance of our visit.
What do you plan to do?
I think I will bring them back to their childhood, when it is always spring.
Groucho, aren't you supposed to be getting ready to take Dinah Shore to the dance tonight?
Yes, and I was practicing with a partner all afternoon. Gee, that Homer's clumsy.
Why, I think Homer is very graceful.
Yeah, but every time I do the charts and he does the Lindy Hop and it comes out the varsity drag.
Well, hadn't you better start getting dressed?
Who, I, Mother? Oh, yes. Where is Father's formal suit?
Oh, Groucho, I forgot to tell you. The tailor sent back the coat and vest, but he misplaced the pants.
Gosh, I'm in trouble. I'll be the only fella at the dance with a top hat, white tie, and shorts.
I'm all dressed for the dance, Father. How do I look?
Well, you look just like your mother did 20 years ago when I took her to her first dance.
No wonder. I'm wearing the same dress. I'm ashamed. I'll be the only girl at the dance with a bustle.
Now, a bustle's a mighty good thing to have, daughter.
Why?
You won't be able to sit out any of the dances. By the way, who are you going to the dance with?
Groucho Marx.
Oh, him. Fat. Why do you want to waste time with him? Why don't you go with Leroy, the banker's son?
Oh, him. He was over last night, and after you and Mother went to bed, we were sitting on the sofa holding hands when all of a sudden the lights went out, and he went down to the cellar and fixed them.
Oh, just like an electrician.
No, just like a dope.
Well, I'm going into the kitchen to make myself a sandwich. And remember, daughter, If you get home a minute later than 7 a.m., you'll be put to bed without your breakfast.
Oh, that must be Groucho now.
Hi.
Hi.
You look super.
You look duper.
You look keen.
You look clean.
You look snousy.
You look super.
How do you like the tails I'm wearing? Aren't they keen?
Super, but why did you wear your tennis pants with them?
Because they go well with my sneakers.
Gee, that's super.
Isn't it keen?
Oh, super. It makes you look so grown up.
Well, haven't you noticed the pipe in my mouth? I've had it for a week now.
Of course I noticed it. Who gave it to you?
My father. Next year I get the tobacco.
You know, Groucho, I wrote a poem about you, and it was your pipe that inspired me.
Gee, Willie, 'cause that's keen. How does it go?
Well, give me a man who owns a pipe, and I'll give you a man true blue. Give me a man who loves a pipe. He will be loyal and trustworthy, too. Give me a man who smokes a pipe. That's the man my heart is seeking.
Give me a man who fixes a pipe. The kitchen sink is leaking.
Now, Father, will you please go back into the kitchen?
Well, daughter, just a minute, Dinah. I don't like this father's part I've got here.
Well, Harry, you're interrupting the program now.
Well, I don't care about the program. What I've got to say is more important.
What can you say that's important?
Groucho Marx.
Well, that's important.
Oh, Fap. Every time we have a play, you put me out in the kitchen or in the bedroom or the yard or the doghouse, every place except in front of the microphone.
Oh, well, Harry, what part do you want to play then?
What part do I want to play? Don't you ever think I'd like to say keen?
Yeah, but you don't get your leg up high
Did
enough.
You don't have the obstruction I got here. And did I have one sentence with super in it?
Well,
Nothing.
All right, Harry. Look, now, don't cry. If you feel that way about it, I'm sure Groucho won't mind playing the father's part. Will you, Groucho? You don't mind, do you? And, Harry, you play the Henry Aldrich part.
Oh, well, thank you.
Big baby.
Oh.
Now, come on. Stop it. Let's start all over again.
Harry Von Zell.
Coming, Mother.
Harry, aren't you supposed to be getting ready to take Dinah Shore to the dance tonight?
Gee whiz, yes. And I've been practicing with a partner all afternoon. Gee, that Don Wilson is clumsy.
Why, I think Don is a lovely boy, and he speaks beautifully.
Yes, Mother, but every time I say bird's eye frozen spinach, he says lucky strike means fine tobacco. And it comes out lucky bird strike eye means frozen fine tobacco spinach.
Well, you better hurry. Dinah must be waiting for you.
I'm all dressed for the dance, Father.
Coming, Ma. Oh, no, that's...
How do I look?
Oh, you look just like your mother did 20 years ago. And I wish you wouldn't remind me of it. By the way, who are you going to the dance with?
Harry Von Zell.
Harry Von Zell? Why don't you go with Leroy, the grocer's son? At least we'll get butter. You can get a laugh on a butter joke.
Now, look,
You
Groucho...
play your grocer right.
Groucho, why don't you stop reading things that aren't in the script? We're having trouble enough as it is.
Well, that's why I'm doing it as it isn't.
No. Hey, kids, now listen, don't start fighting. Wait till we get up to where I say super, will you?
Super or no super, Harry. I'm not going to play this part with Groucho. He doesn't play fair. If you want to do it, you'll have to play my part.
Huh? Oh, okay.
You play anything.
I'm all dressed for the dance, Father. How do I look?
Coming, Ma. Oh, no. Oh, you look just like your mother did 20 years ago, only she had a heavier beard.
Oh, heavens. I'll be the only girl at the dance with a bustle.
You can really play this, huh?
I'll be the only girl at the dance with a bustle.
Oh, he's twins now. A bustle's a mighty good thing to have, Dota.
But mine is in front.
Wait a minute, you two-legged icebox. That line isn't in there. Now cut it out. You got the whole audience laughing at you.
Oh, what's the man.
Now who's ruining the show? No coaching from the audience, ladies.
Oh, well, I'm tired of being a girl. I want to be a man.
Bonzel, if you haven't made it by now, you never will.
Oh, please, can't we get somebody to do this thing right?
Pardon me, I think I could do the part of Henry Aldrich.
Who are you?
I am the Spiwit Of Spwing.
I'll take it this time. Spirit of spring.
Coming, Mother.
USA, the greatest entertainers in America, as requested by you, the servicemen and women of the United States Armed Forces throughout the world. Command Performance, presented this week and every week till it's over there. Okay there, gang. This is Ken Carpenter passing out Annie Oakley's for another mic full of songs and snappy patter as per your letters to Command Performance, Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. It seems that about the time you took off, or wherever you happen to be now, the entire radio public had gone quiz program happy, and we beg to report that this condition hasn't improved since you left. So, in accordance with our policy of keeping you abreast of the times, we bring you all the quiz programs rolled into one. We've named this impending catastrophe Dr. People, our Double and Take It, Truth or Ignorance, It Pays to Be Information, or Leave It and Let the Quiz Kids Take the Consequences. And now we bring you that genial, jovial, affable, laughable custodian of the questions, that ever-cheerful dispenser of brand-new silver dollars, Dr. Groucho Marx.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here again this week as your quizmaster. I say I'm happy to be here. I'd much rather be home in my backyard with a tall, cool beer and a short, warm housemaid. I wrote that myself. Now let's get on with the show. Better yet, let's get on with the housemaid. And remember, this program... Boys. And remember, this program is presented by the makers of Sludge, the breakfast food that makes you wish it was lunchtime. Unlike other breakfast foods, Sludge doesn't crackle, snap, crunch, or pop. It tinkles. No other cereal can make this statement. Personally, I'm just as happy. Who wants a cereal that makes statements? How'd you like to sit down for a quiet breakfast some morning and have a plate of oatmeal say, "Hello, Harry, how'd you sleep last night? When are you going to pay the rent?" I like an oatmeal that keeps his lump shut. If she wants to talk, let her talk to other oatmeal. I like an oatmeal that's kind, not one that's gruel.
I've been growing tobacco for nigh on to 30 years. I've seen many a crop of that fine, rich, sun-ripened leaf come and go. And the folks up north know tobacco goodness.
Mm-hmm. If I may make a suggestion, I wish you'd get the LSMFT out of here. But before you go, take $5 silver dollars.
Thank you, sir.
That's all right. I'm taking 50. The sponsor will never miss it. And I'll never miss you. Let's see now. Who's our next contestant? Ah, here he is. What's your name, sir?
I've been growing tobacco for nigh on to 30 years.
Now, isn't that stuff up yet? Look, this is a quiz program. Are you a contestant or aren't you?
The whole secret of real tobacco goodness is in the fertilizer.
It is, huh?
You gotta know just how to spread it around.
Well, you're the man for the job, and thank you, Sam Nicotine. This is some quiz program. I've been here 20 minutes, and I haven't asked anybody a question yet. Oh, well, I'll take a few more silver dollars. After all, it's only stealing. Ah, here's the next contestant. Good evening, sir.
My name is Richard Lane. I live at 748 and quarter Clinton Avenue, Culver City, California. And the campus is a little white house, green shutters, picket fence, red brick chimney. All you have to do is to turn to the right when you come to the gas near the corner of Melrose. Keep you only hit Clinton. Turn to the left is the fourth house and right if it comes from Beverly. I'm a grocery clerk. Now, what's the first question?
Well,
That's a couple of these questions. That's a couple of these programs, you quiz masters are all alike. You never stop talking blah, blah, blah. Fella come up to answer a few questions, pick up a couple of What happened? You ask him what's his name. What does he do? Is he married, engaged, going with anybody? What his hobbies are? By the time his question comes up, it's either too late to answer, there's no money left. What's the first question?
Well, I was...
There you go, jabbing again. Don't you guys do anything but talk, blah, blah, blah. Suppose you're going to ask me where I'm from. They always do. And usually the guy says Brooklyn. The minute he says Brooklyn, yeah, hooray, hey! You think everyone's born there on purpose. Me, I'm from Toledo. When I say Toledo, does the audience applaud, stamp, scream, whistle, and hit each other over the head with chairs? Nah. They just say Toledo. Brooklyn, yeah, hey! Toledo, All right, what's the first question?
When you were a baby, did your mother ever drop you on your tongue?
I can see I'm not going to get anywhere with you, so for $75, Mount Vernon, Marie Antoinette in 1865.
I don't get it. What's that?
That's 3 questions. Put any questions you like to. Now, give me the money. Good night.
And now, once again, we bring you the genial, jovial, affable dispenser of the brand new silver dollars, but very little dialogue for the last few minutes. Groucho Marx! Applause. For those of you who are lucky enough to tune in late, let me remind you that this program comes to you through the carelessness of sludge, the breakfast food that tinkles. For 6 years now, sludge has been put to every known scientific test, and the only good thing they've found out about it is that it doesn't leak in a plane. There's nothing like it for a quick breakfast. You just got to know how to spread it around. While we're on the subject, I got a couple of requests to sing myself. Oddly enough, the request was sent in by a couple of strangers named Chico and Harpo. Zeppo doesn't care what I do, which is all right with me because I don't care what Zeppo does. And he's the guy that can do it. Sing, Groucho. Oh, Lydia, say, have you met Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady. She has eyes that men adore so, and a torso even more so. Lydia, oh, Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh, Lydia, the queen of tattoo. On her back is the Battle of Waterloo. Beside it, the wreck of the Hesperus, too. And proudly above waves the red, white, and blue. You can learn a lot from Lydia. La, 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 la. When a robe is unfurled, she will show you the world. If you'll step up and tell her where. For a dime you can see Kankakee or Paris or Washington crossing the Delaware. La, 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 la. Oh, Lydia, say, have you met Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady. When her muscles start relaxing, up the hill comes Andrew Jackson. Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh, Lydia, the queen of them all. For to bit she will do a massacre in jazz with a view of Niagara that nobody has. And on a clear day you can see Alcatraz. You can learn a lot from Lydia. La, 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 la. Come along and see Buffalo Bill with his lasso. Just a little classic by Mendel Picasso. Here's Captain Spaulding exploring the Amazon. Here's Godiva, but with her pajamas on. La, 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 la. Oh, Lydia, say, have you met Lydia? Lydia, the tattooed lady. When she stands, the world grows littler. When she sits on Hitler. Lydia, oh Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh Lydia, the queen of them all. She once swept an admiral clear off his feet. The ships on her hips made his heart skip a beat. And now the old boy's in command of the fleet, for he went and married Lydia. I said Lydia. He said Lydia. I said Lydia. He said Lydia. Well, men,
command performance has deviated from its customary policy this time, inasmuch as we didn't get a chance to acknowledge your request by name in APO or FPO. However, those of you who did have your requests answered in the show know who you are, and we'll keep answering your mail as fast as it comes in. That's about all I've got. Good night, folks.
I've been growing tobacco for nigh on to 30 years, and this is the Armed Forces Radio Service.
Man, have you seen Groucho Marx? You're Groucho Marx. So I'm Groucho Marx. I'd never know it. I'm much better looking in person.
You haven't changed much, Groucho. Of course, I noticed a few gray hairs.
That's not gray hair, that's snow.
You think this is cold? Why, last week Larry Parks had laryngitis so bad, Jolson could hardly talk.
Can't stop Jolson from talking. You can't even stop him from singing. Where is the old relic?
The old codger is right over there. But Groucho, do me a favor. I was kidding Al about leaving the hall, and he took me seriously.
Don't kid about it. Leave.
All I ask is that you put in a good word for me.
Oh, okay, Oscar. Hey, Jolson.
Hello, Groucho.
I want to put in a word for Levant.
Put it over there in the wastebasket. Groucho, it's good to see you. What have you been doing lately?
Selling mink coats.
Selling mink coats?
Yes, and here's a beauty. Only $40.
Now, wait a minute. Mink coats for $40. How can you sell them so cheap?
Well, I have no overhead. I don't advertise. I don't pay rent, and I steal the coats.
Now, look, Groucho, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wait for my laugh.
Wait a minute. I know you don't steal the... Listen, I know you don't steal coats. Tell me the truth. Where do you get them?
Well, it's very simple, Al. I trap them with my big musical trap.
Yeah?
Oh, I walk out in the woods and play seductive music on my zither.
Yeah.
The little animals hear the music, do a striptease, and take off their fuzz.
Well, what kind of an animal does a striptease?
Well, it's a cross between a mink and a Kalinsky. It's a sort of a Minsky.
Look, Groucho, never mind the sales talk. I'm not in the market.
It's a good investment, Jolson. There's no upkeep on a mink coat, unless the mink are still alive.
Well, the upkeep is on the girl inside the coat.
Only if she's alive. You don't know what a bargain these coats are. Do you realize how expensive it is to raise mink and feed them?
I haven't the slightest idea. What do mink eat?
Sable.
What?
And get this, Al. On every coat, there are 168 mink.
168 mink. Gee, this sounds like a business that I should be in. But where would I get 168 mink?
You don't need 168. You start out with one. Now, wait a minute. You better start out with two. And Al, it'll help if they're both not named Sam. Now, come on, Johnson, loosen up.
Huh?
Loosen up.
If I loosen up anymore, I'll fall down.
This is your last chance to buy a coat.
Oh, come on, Brock. Let's forget about coats. Besides, my wife wouldn't know mink from cat.
Good. This mink happens to be genuine cat. Comes with a saucer of milk in each pocket. From Elsie, the cow.
You're crazy. I don't want to discuss mink anymore. I don't want to discuss mink anymore.
You don't want to discuss mink anymore?
No.
I'm doing my own straight lines now. Well, how about a seal coat, Al? Of course, your wife would have to spend the winter on a wet rock in San Francisco Bay.
Listen, I don't want a silk coat either.
But this is genuine Hudson seal. The only coat you step down to get into.
Groucho, look, why do you have to sell fur coats? Haven't you still got that radio show?
You bet your life. The only compact with a mirror that makes you look 20 years younger.
Oh, stop it, Groucho. Mirror that makes you look 20 years younger.
That's right. The other day, a 20-year-old girl looked into one and completely disappeared.
Gee, if I looked into one, I'd be 16 again.
That fellow that just laughed is older than you, Al. Al, would you like to put in an order?
No, thank. I don't want to buy any compacts.
Would you be interested in buying NBC?
NBC?
No, it's an old network.
You're wrong, Al. It's hardly used.
If you're listening, Niles Kreml, Groucho's just kidding.
Jolson, pay attention. I've got a real buy for you. How about a nightclub?
What would I be doing with a nightclub?
Well, you could sing there, which would give you a good excuse to stay away.
Groucho, now wait a minute. You're not going to sell me anything. I didn't fight my way through this smudge for this. I don't know why they're doing all that smudging anyway. This morning I squeezed an orange. Instead of juice, I got cinders.
You should have seen what I squeezed this morning. Instead of my wife, I got the maid.
You ought to be more careful, Groucho.
Yes, I might give my wife some time.
You know something?
If the maid is listening, I'm only kidding.
Groucho, you know, I think your mind is wandering.
Yes, I think some night I'll go with it. Certainly has more fun than I do. But, Jolson, stop changing the subject. How would you like to buy a hotel?
A hotel? Now, wait a minute. That interests me. Is it a good hotel?
I inspected it myself. I looked into every nook and cranny. By the way, how is your cranny, eh?
Well, she's about 70 now.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about, cranny?
I'm talking about nooks and crannies.
Oh.
I can't say much for the nooks, but the crannies have all been repainted.
Well, now, wait a minute, Groucho. You see, buying a hotel is a risk, unless there's something novel in it.
Well, there's a novel in it if you can write, Al. No, this hotel has television. What did I get into that time?
You got nothing out of it.
This you may go back in again. Al, this hotel has television in every room.
Television in every room, are you sure, Groucho?
Well, it's not exactly television. The rooms just have large keyholes.
Well, that'll help. Are there any people living in the hotel?
Yes, the new Secretary of State, Atchison, is there.
Atchison?
Yes.
Anyone important beside Atchison?
Yes, Topeka and Santa Fe.
I'm sorry, Groucho. I don't think we can make a deal today.
Jolson, every man with money should remember the old saying, you can't take it with you. Now, I have a proposition that's even better.
What is it?
Well, since you can't take it with you, why don't you let me hold it until you get back? Jolson, you're a lucky man. You're selling a product that you can eat. I tried eating my product. Take my word for it. Don't ever sink your teeth in an Elgin American Compact. Don't even put your teeth in an Elgin American Compact. It's more like it, huh?
Groucho, I'm glad you were able to come over to the music hall. I really am.
I almost didn't make it, Al. You know, this is Thursday, the maid's night out.
Well, how'd you get away?
At our house, I'm the maid.
Oh. Must be tiresome pinching yourself, huh?
It's tiresome, but safer.
But tell me, Groucho, you have a radio program of your own, haven't you?
You bet your life. It's a quiz show. I ask people questions.
Wait a minute. You're not Dr. IQ.
No, I'm still an intern.
Well,
I'm still up in the balcony, eh?
Yeah. How about ask me some questions like you ask on your program?
I don't think I can, Al. This sort of thing is for people who went to school.
Groucho, just a moment. I want you to know, I did go to school, you know.
Really? What school?
Arthur Murray's.
Well, what did you study, Al?
A little blonde named Henrietta. Now,
I took the same course in night school.
Yeah.
But that won't help you answer the kind of questions I ask. A quiz is a little out of your field, Al.
How come?
I know you're a great entertainer. You told me so yourself, but I don't want to embarrass you before all these people.
Now, wait a minute. Just ask me the question. We'll see how dumb I am.
I don't have to ask you questions to find that out. Now, the way I do it on my show, I team up a husband and a wife. Is your wife here?
No, she's out delivering laundry.
Jolson, you mean to say your wife takes in washing?
Well, gee whiz, the girl's got to have spending money. You know that.
Can't stop these modern girls. My wife sells blankets to the Albuquerque Indians.
No.
Of course, she's part Navajo and part blanket.
Oh, I see.
Well, we've got to find a wife to team up with you for these questions. Levant, are you willing to work with Jolson as his wife?
Okay.
Al, are you willing to play Levant's husband?
Yeah.
I now pronounce you man and wife.
What's going on here?
Oscar, look. Groucho wants to team us as man and wife so we can answer some quiz questions.
If you're around Jolson long enough, you have to marry him.
Well, Jolson will be the husband because he's the oldest, and Levant... I said oldest. I was thinking of the jokes. And Levant, you'll be the wife because you're the shabbiest.
Look, wait a minute.
Courteous.
Before we go any
You gotta
further...
wear a good suit.
Yes. Before we go any further, I want everyone to know that Oscar's not... Well, he's not my taste in women, really.
Boy,
he's
are
not.
we fumbling this around?
Yeah.
This is Life with Fumbles, this is called. Up to you, Levant.
What'd you say, Al?
I said before we go any further, I want everyone to know that you're not my taste in women.
Jolson, if I were a woman, I wouldn't marry you if you were the last man on earth. And you probably will be.
Please, I don't like to see couples fighting on their honeymoon. Now, before we get to the questions, I want to interview you lovebirds. Jolson, how did you meet this little sweetie pie?
Well, I met her during Fire Prevention Week. She was on fire at the time I came along, and she was put out.
And you always were a big squirt.
Well...
Now, sweetie pie, that's you, Levant.
Thank you, Hank.
Where did you meet this old goat?
Well, now, wait a minute.
Okay, where did you meet this young goat?
Well, I was playing piano on my balcony when a strolling troubadour began singing below. I almost fumbled that. Now, here I fumbled the next part. I had no coins to throw him, so I threw my piano.
You had a balcony and a piano?
I threw both those lines.
You're not H. Harry S., are you? Huh? I noticed it said Steinway on the back of his head.
Uh-huh.
We're a couple of Horowitz. Now, now tell me, Levant, how many children do you have?
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
I have 2, and she has 3.
You have 2, and she has 3? Well,
Yes.
how do you account for that?
We keep secrets.
Well, that's unusual. You have 2, and he has 3?
Yes, we have one odd one.
Robbie takes after Jolson.
Well, look, if you guys are going to stand and insult me, I'm ending this marriage.
Alas, I remain an unkissed bride. Groucho, can't you ask us questions as man to man?
Well, in that case, you'll have to get someone instead of Jolson. But I'm sorry this happened. I had such hopes for you two. I could just see you walking down life's pathway making horrible music together. Well, sic temper Brutus.
What's that sic temper Brutus?
That's Latin for Manhattan.
Oh,
Now, just choose a category, and I'll ask you some questions.
Well, what about the money you paid?
I knew if anyone brought up that nasty subject, it would be you. The way it works, I give you $20 to start, and you bet any amount.
We'll take the musical category.
That's right, and we'll let the money ride on every question.
All right, now see if you know the name of this song. When there are gray skies, I don't mind the gray skies. I love you so, yatta boy.
Got it like that. Stormy weather.
You had sworn it was something else. These guys know more about music than I do. All right, you have $40. Next question. Yeah. Jolson finally got himself a yeah man. You now have $80. Next question. Why didn't Schubert finish his symphony?
He was afraid Jolson would sing it.
Correct. You now have $160. Next question. Who is the most popular singer of the day?
Well,
Now, wait a minute. Let me give you some hints. He's a great sportsman, a great golfer. He wears loud shirts, and he has 4 sons.
I object on the ground that question tends to eliminate me.
Okay, you still have $160. What would you like to try?
I'd like to try and get the money.
Correct. Gentlemen, you now have $320. Here's my personal check, and thank you very much.
Wait a
And
minute,
stand by for the
wait a minute.
jackpot.
Just a moment. Aren't you going to sign this check? Aren't you going to sign this check?
Are you crazy? The last time I signed one of these things, I spent 5 years in jail. Say, have you got the key to the washroom? I want to rinse this cigar.
I'm afraid you're Groucho Marx.
You bet your life.
In case you don't remember, I'm Oscar Levant.
Oscar, that's a strange name. Why couldn't your parents think of something more normal? Like Zeppo, Harpo, or Gummo? Or even Zazu Pitts. You won't go far with a name like that.
It so happens that I've done quite well as a piano player.
Really? Well, I have just the thing every piano player needs, an Elgin American Compact.
Why would a piano player need a compact?
Well, you can powder the seat of your pants when the bench makes it shiny. Now, Levant, before I make a poor man out of Jolson, how would you like to buy an elephant?
You're mad. What would I do with an elephant?
Make your own piano keys. Or I'll sell you some piano keys and you can make your own elephant.
Well, hello, Groucho.
Jolson, I don't like your attitude. Every time we meet, you say, hello, Groucho. How come you never say, hello, Tyrone?
All right. Hello, Tyrone.
Jolson, don't you know me? I'm Groucho. I'm one of the Marx brothers. I'm the one that doesn't talk.
But you're talking right now.
Oh, well, that was you that was just talking. Jolson, I see you've raised a mustache.
Yeah, I did it for a reason, Groucho. I wanted to look a little older.
Well, I think you made it.
And you might
Why
be
don't you throw a beard in?
You might be interested to know, since I've had this mustache, a lot of people think you and I look alike, you know.
That's about the best reason I've ever had to shave mine off. Jolson, I didn't come over here to find out what's going on under your nose.
Yeah?
Al, someday you're going to want to retire again. Or is that just wishful thinking? You ought to have a business working for you. Something where the money's coming in and you don't have to sing.
Well, suppose the money doesn't come in.
Who cares as long as you're not singing?
But look, Groucho, I'm not interested in business. It's not exciting enough for me.
That's why my proposition is so good, Al. I want to sell you a ball team.
A ball team? No, thanks. Say, wait a minute. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Now, Bob Hope owns a part of the Cleveland Indians, and Bing Crosby owns part of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Groucho, what team did you have in mind for me?
The Bel Air Bloomer Girls.
A girls' baseball team? Groucho, that's ridiculous. Girls don't play good baseball.
Well, they probably know some other games, too.
But I've never even heard of the team, Groucho. Who do they play? Where do they play? Who are they?
Well, last week we played the Optimistic Donuts.
What?
The Optimistic Donuts.
Were the Optimistic Donuts any good?
No, I've never yet seen a donut that could play ball. On the other hand, I've never seen a baseball that you could dunk.
Did you ever get in a game with them, Groucho?
Yes, but for some reason I can't get to place base with any of them.
Groucho, do you coach this team yourself?
That's right, Al. I used to get out there with the girls and take strenuous exercises.
I suppose that was to build up your resistance, eh?
No, it was to tear theirs down.
Well, I don't know about girls playing ball.
I don't know about you, Al, but they always play ball with me.
But tell me, Groucho, does a girls' team draw big crowds?
Well, at yesterday's game, there were 5,000 people in the grandstand.
Any bleachers?
Well, there were a few blondes there. Now, come on, Jolson, let's make a deal. You can have all the baseball bats, masks, and uniforms for $25.
They'd be the girls' expenses, you know.
You don't have to worry about it, Al. I perfected a device so when a girl is tired and hungry, it automatically feeds her.
What did you call it?
A man.
What? Groucho, I can't go on a business proposition this way. You tell me they're good players, but I don't know. I don't know if they are or not.
Well, of course they are. Why, you should have seen the scouts here last night to look them over.
Big league scouts?
No, Boy Scouts.
What? Groucho, what good is it for Boy Scouts to look at the girls?
Well, they learned you can start a fire without matches.
By the way, how many bats do you have?
Oh, just 2 or 3. The rest of them look pretty good. Huh?
Oh, you're crazy. Now, Groucho, look, this is between you. Don't try and tell me that. Aren't you fond of any of the girls?
Stop shaking the paper. I can't read.
Wait a minute. This has nothing to do with the paper. I want to know something. You got to tell me.
Natural shake?
What I want to know is, outside of this baseball, are you fond of any of the girls?
Now, let's see. Oh, yes. Well, to tell the truth... To tell the truth, and I'm trying to avoid it, I went for the pitcher, but I went too far and got the catcher.
Oh, she must be good looking, huh?
Oh, you'd like her after a fashion. You'd probably like her even better after an old fashion.
Well, that begins to interest me. Now, there's something else I want to know. Do you play any doubleheaders?
Not if I can get a guy with a single head. Jolson, you got to buy this team. They're really fine players. Why, I've got a shortstop who doesn't even use a glove when she plays.
How does she stop the ball?
With her face.
What?
Her face will stop anything. However, the center fielder has one bad habit. When she's running the bases, she always stops and walks from third base to home plate.
How come?
She says the fellows she knows, but the fellows with...
Yes. I've been waiting for you to do that.
Are you shaking this paper again? She says with the fellow she knows, walking home is a good thing to practice. I'm sorry I got to it.
But Groucho, how does the betting average on the team? Do you have any girls who are good at pinch hitting?
Yes, one, but I help her.
How can you help a pinch hit?
Well, I pinch and she hits. But enough about the girls' team, Jolson. Let's talk about some other round figures, like your money.
Groucho, I'm not going to get involved in a money deal until I'm sure that you know something about baseball.
Know something about baseball? Al, you don't remember when I played with the Dodgers?
Brooklyn Dodgers?
No draft.
What?
Then I was with the Chicago White Sox for 3 years.
Chicago White Sox for 3 years? Doing what?
Washing socks.
Yeah.
From there I went to the Red Sox and then to the Argyle Sox. After leaving the Sox, I was promoted to underwear. Started at the bottom. After that, I went to the... After that, I went to the Bush Leagues.
What'd you do in the Bush Leagues?
Trim bushes. 2 years later, I became a star pitcher. I remember my first big game. In the 4th inning, I threw my arm out.
You threw your arm out? What
Yes.
happened?
Someone in the stands threw it back in. He said there was no mustard on it.
Groucho, I don't think I want to buy a girls' team. Now, if they were any good, the major leagues would be looking over your players.
Well, they are. I have one girl the Yanks are still after.
The Yanks are looking for her? Who is she?
Mademoiselle from Armentières.
Groucho, that's the name of a song.
I know, and here's the name of another one, that little German band.
Okay, Groucho, you take the high notes, and I'll take the low notes. And I'll get to the end before you.
This should be a baseball song. It's coming in from left field, Al.
Hier, der Kapellmeister, he's making every music.
Der Kapellmeister?
Ja, der Kapellmeister, das ist großartig,
Sehr gut, ja.
Beneath my window every morn, I can hear a great big horn.
Papa, in the backyard, there they are.
And they want money when they play. I give them more to go away.
They all play something new.
Ja, sir.
They blow until they're blue.
And when you think they're through, they sing a line or two. La, 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 la.
Such a pretty melody.
La, 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 la.
Like the birdies in the tree.
La, 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 la.
Everybody sing with us.
La, 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 la. La, 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 la. That was großartig, Meyer.
Oh, wunderschön.
You know something?
Yeah.
You, the way you sing, you should be with Caruso.
Albert, Caruso is dead.
I know.
Albert.
Oh, that music is so grand. From the little German band. What is that?
Say, something got sour in the flute.
The bass horn fella is the best. Now he could almost round the rest.
They all stand in a ring.
Jawohl.
They play the same
Oh,
old
they're
thing.
no good. And the leader pulls the string.
Yeah.
They drop their horns and sing. La, 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 la.
Such a pretty melody. La, 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 la. Like the birdies in the tree. La, 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 la. Everybody sing with me. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Van, is it true that Jolson is leaving radio?
That's right, Groucho. Didn't you see the announcement about Jolson going off the air?
Well, then I'm just the man Jolson will want to see. I've got some business opportunities for him that should make him independently poor.
Here he comes.
Well, hello, Groucho. How are you, old boy?
Hello, Al. It's good to see a strange face among all these familiar people. Here, Levan, open up this Elgin American Compact and take a powder. Now, Jolson, how would you like to be a traveling salesman?
I don't want to do any traveling. I want to stay home with my wife.
Al, I've got a better idea. You travel and I'll stay home with your wife. Now, the first thing a salesman needs is a new car.
Well, naturally.
I just happen to have a nice sedan that's a steal at $300, and I ought to know because I'm the one that stole it.
Well, I'm not buying, so don't waste your time.
But it's a great car. It's a new 1920 Hudson. The only car that steps down and gets under you. This car is complete with all accessories. It has a nice bumper in front. It takes a size 34 pedestrian.
A car with just a bumper in front. How about the rear of the car?
My Aunt Sadie sits way back and wears a bustle. Jolson, you've got to buy this car. Think of the fun you can have going on long rides.
Well, how far can you go on a gallop?
Well, that depends on the girl.
What? Now, look. Forget
start
it,
off with
Groucho.
a quart, huh?
Well, wait a minute. Forget it, Groucho. I am not...
Or a fifth, huh?
Now, will you wait a minute? Now, wait a minute now.
Don't keep me hanging on these straight lines, Al.
I'm not buying a second-hand car.
This is a good car, Al. I'll let you in on a little secret.
Yeah?
Gypsy Rose Lee used to own it.
Gypsy Rose Lee used to own it?
Yeah.
How'd you find out?
Every time the car hears music, it strips its gears. Jolson, I'm not here to bandy words with you.
Yeah?
How would you like to go into the ice business? I have 4,000 tons of ice.
What would I do with 4,000 tons of ice?
You could melt it up and make swell water.
Now, Groucho, look, if I go into any business while waiting for television, it'll have to be something that can use my talents. I happen to be known as a singer, you know.
Yes, it's funny how that happened. Al, would you consider a job at a self-service nightclub?
I've worked in clubs.
I know.
Good ones in Frisco, all over, years ago, you know.
On the curve.
Oh, sure. Las Vegas, too. But anyway, years ago I sang in a wonderful nightclub. Every night we serve a different food.
It says lavish place here, huh?
Yeah, well, I cut it out. But anyway. I'll get this joke in if it kills me. Well, anyway.
You probably will.
Every night.
Why didn't you want to say lavish place, huh? It's not good enough for you, lavish place, huh? 3 writers slaving all week, and you cut out their words as soon as they...
I don't know what lavish means. Well, anyway. Every night we serve a different food.
I don't know what it means either, but it sounds good.
All right, we'll go back to it. Okay. Years ago, I sang in a very lavish place. All right?
Hey, you've been in that place a long while, haven't you?
Well, every night they serve a different food, and the waitresses wore costumes that went with the dinner. On the night we had roast beef, they wore English costumes.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to say that.
Lavish place. On the night we had enchiladas, the girls wore Spanish costumes.
How spicy.
Well, we finally got closed up.
Well, how come? Amos and Andy are looking for 2 other fellas. How come?
Well, I got to go back to it again.
Yeah.
On the night we had roast beef...
You going back and work in that place again?
In the lavish place.
Well, they closed it up. I forgot to tell you.
Let me get this, will you?
Okay.
On the night we had roast beef, they wore English costumes.
Yeah.
On the night we had...
You'll get the same ad lib from me no matter how many times you say it.
On the night we had enchiladas, the girl wore Spanish costumes.
How spicy.
We finally got closed up.
Well, how come?
The chef forgot and served oysters.
Well, how come?
The chef forgot and served raw oysters. That's better.
Nothing. Jolson, how'd you like to buy a laundry?
Oh, a laundry's a good business.
Jolson, I'm not going to swindle you with an old-fashioned hand laundry where they just wash hands.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to swindle you. I'm going to swindle you in one of those stores filled with washing machines.
You mean a laundromat?
What do you know about laundromats?
Well, I took my laundry to one of those places once, and I met a beautiful girl at the next machine. I was so excited we got our bundles mixed. And today I'm the only man in the casino who wears black lace undies.
A likely story and probably true. I'll never forget the first time I took my bundle to the store. I met a gorgeous blonde.
Yeah?
Oh, Al, it was wet wash at first sight.
Did you strike up an acquaintance?
Yes, I passed her my soap chips, and I asked her if she'd care to have a pinch of my Lux.
That did it, huh?
No, she just went on washing, pausing only long enough to put my head in the mangle.
Now, wait a minute, Groucho. I might be interested in this laundromat business. While the machines are doing the laundry, I could sing to the people.
Novel idea, and Levant could accompany you on the Bendix.
Groucho, you're just trying to make a sucker out of me. Let me tell you something, Groucho Marx. The man doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. That can make a fool out of Jolson. I wasn't born yesterday, you know.
Al, that's the understatement of the year. How would you like to buy Arthur Murray's dancing school?
Now, wait a minute. That interests me. Groucho, do you have Arthur Murray's power of attorney?
I don't know. Bring his attorney around sometime and I'll wrestle him.
Oh, you're crazy.
You think I'm crazy, you ought to see my brother Groucho.
But you're Groucho.
I am?
Yeah, sure.
Well, that explains why I played the harp so badly today.
Groucho, you're driving me nuts. Once and for all, I don't want to buy anything.
You're not going to buy anything. I'm going to President Truman and sell him Alaska.
Just a minute, Groucho. The United States already owns Alaska. They bought it from the Russians.
Well, I haven't been reading the papers lately. I didn't know we were doing business with them again. So long.